The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Wednesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you alongside my LSU Tiger friend.
So their softball team plays today, so I might as well get the game day swag on
All right.
and represent my.
Don't be wearing
Friends.
that stuff next week now.
I got it. No, you're good.
Yeah, you're not going to be wearing that stuff now. Listen,
If I do, it'll say softball to be very clear.
Yeah. And I love me some LSU Tigers because Alan Dunn, the pitching coach, and I are
have him
good
on
friends.
next week? Can we have him on next week?
Yes, I will get AD on next week.
Like that would be awesome to have him kind of preview the YSU series and
Yeah.
and give a a little preview of what LSU is going to bring to the table, and
Well, I
I
know
think
what-
that would be really fun.
I know what LSU is bringing to the
Well, we all
table.
know.
A College World Series caliber baseball team. That's
Have
what
him,
they bring to the table.
Have him introduce us to Mike the Tiger. See if we can get a cameo growl from Mike.
Yeah, probably not. No, we'll see.
Have you been to that campus and seen that
I
habitat?
I have not seen that
The
campus.
tiger habitat is ridiculous.
Yeah.
When DJ goes down there, I'm going to tell him make sure to visit Mike the Tiger because the money they've spent on that and that area where they keep their live tiger is just it's really cool. I
Yeah.
know they get into a lot of because Pete is like, well, you
Yeah.
can't keep a live
Yeah,
animal.
you
on
can't keep a
campus."
live animal. Okay,
Well,
well,
you know
PETA
what?
stands for people who eat tasty animals. Shut up. Yeah, so there you go.
Well.
Look, I love LSU. That's some good people down there, and I do have friends that still live in Baton Rouge from their days in minor league baseball. That's a silly place, silly as in really really good, and it'll be fun. It'll be real fun to see YSU go into a place where they take their baseball incredibly serious.
Right.
That is no joke
Baseball
down
and
there.
softball,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's they take their baseball and softball incredibly serious. It's
Trying to get a ticket to an LSU softball game in a normal setting is very hard.
Yeah.
Their season ticket holders are almost clamped down the whole stadium.
Yeah, they have more season ticket holders than most minor league baseball
Right.
teams have, which is pretty absurd. Tournament today for the girls D2, D3, D4. Your team is in all likelihood going to be a playoff team or a tournament team tonight, unless you drew the bye and you're playing on Saturday. You're playing tonight, so there's a ton of games on the network tonight.
We have 14 tournament games on the network right now that we are covering, and once again, just want to remind people that $9.99 gets you that game and all the games on the network tonight. So you pay one price, you get all the games, and I don't think that's I did the math. That's about 70 cents per game, so you can't really beat the value.
Yeah, it's great value, and certainly you'll see a lot of really good basketball.
You got a good game.
Yes, I'll be broadcasting the Waterloo Crestview game. Waterloo is grossly underseeded at 17.
Well,
This is a team that is very capable of beating Crestview
they
tonight.
are, and the reason that they're so low is that they're young. They're young and inconsistent, and sometimes with young, inconsistent teams, they have games where they just don't show up, and they lose games maybe they shouldn't. They lost a game to Jackson Milton by 20 that they really should have been more competitive against. But then you look at games like at Springfield where they score 35 points in the first quarter and hit 9 threes, you go, oh, this team has legitimate potential. We can't sleep on Waterloo.
No.
And you're going to see that tonight, that if the young team decides to show up and decides to compete, then you're going to see a really good basketball game.
Yeah, don't play zone against this team because they can hit threes like nobody's business. And when they're on, they're going to be a tough nut to crack.
You're going to be seeing Brooke Waldeck a lot tonight. Their senior, she scores a lot for them. Look for her to have a big night if Waterloo wants to win.
Yeah, Mogador is another team that Brookfield's going to wonder why they're seated so low.
Right.
They go to Brookfield tonight. South Range gets Crestwood.
Crestwood's a team that has one good girl and
Yeah.
then a lot of role players that need to be shut down.
And in order for Crestwood to have any shot at beating South Range, about 4 of those role players are going to have to show up and score a ton. And
They're
good
coming
luck
all the
on
way
that.
from Akron, too. It's a long road trip for Crestwood down in Mantua.
That's true.
Up in Mantua, I should say, not down.
Yeah, that's very true. And again, with the 2 districts combining into one, you see an awful lot of crazy travel. For example, Cardinal in extreme northern Trumbull County will make a trip all the way down to Leetonia to play the Bears. That's going to be at least an hour trip from Cardinal to, and that's in Middlefield, which is up in northern Trumbull, if I'm not mistaken. It might even be in Geauga County, to be honest with you. But they're going to make a trip into Leetonia. That's at least an hour. That's a crazy trip. There's another one. I think it was the boys.
And then if Latonia wins, they go to East Canton, right?
Yes.
Those are 2 winnable games for the Bears. East Canton's tough, but I don't think East Canton's a team that's going to be out of the range of winning for Latonia. It's going to be a fun couple games.
And we've both mentioned this. I mean, Gregorino and Ferry will get theirs. I mean, if they don't, they're in serious trouble. The problem with the Bears is when they're off, they don't get much support from the other girls. If Leetonia is going to survive and advance, they're going to need 2 or 3 role players to step up and have 8 to 10 point type of games for them to win.
I think Roscoe's going to be their wild card. The player that really has to step up, score 6 to 10 points, and really give them a little cushion.
Haley Brock is another one that can score when she gets on her A game, and Samantha Schneider can pull down all kinds of rebounds. I believe earlier in the season she was 1 rebound away from breaking the school record for most rebounds in a game. I think she wound up with 21 or 22, and the record's 22 or 23. So she's more than capable of ripping down a ton of rebounds. I like Leetonia's shot in this tournament. I'd said when the seeds came out and when the brackets came out, I really like Leetonia going to the district. But they're going to have to play 2 very good basketball games in order to do that, and it starts tonight, just like everyone else. I like Crestview's chances too, but I could see Waterloo upsetting Crestview tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those games where Crestview, you got to be careful, because I know they're probably thinking, oh man, we got LaBrea the next round.
Yeah,
we already beat LaBrea. We're feeling good. We're gonna have a good trip to the district. You just can't get caught up like that.
No.
You gotta stay focused. And we're gonna talk to Aaron Black tomorrow. He's confirmed for tomorrow.
Yes, he said that he would come on. So
we're gonna talk to him hopefully after a Rebels win.
Yeah, don't want him on after a Rebels loss. That's for sure. No pressure, Coach. Let's run down these games. All of these games, by the way, are going to start at 7:00. Let's go to Division 2 first. Number 19 Geneva is at number 18 Lakeview. Be a fun game tonight.
Winnable game for a struggling program like Lakeview. Anytime you can get a tournament win when you're trying to build up your program, I don't care who you're playing. That's a big time goal, and Lakeview's get to host. So, it's going to be a fun time for the Bulldogs to try to get a confidence boost, get a tournament win, and move forward from there.
Daunting task for number 27 Niles tonight. They venture to number 7 Canton South.
That's one of the games we will not have, but I believe Canton South does have a plan to stream that game themselves. So, Niles fans, YSN won't be there, but we will definitely do our best to help guide you anywhere where you can watch that game, because we understand that not everyone can go. So
Number 22, Ashtabula Edgewood, going to make a trip to the iconic field house in Struthers to take on number 12 Struthers.
Struthers has been really hot lately. I mean, the only loss they've had in the last couple of weeks has been to Poland. No shame in that. But they've really started to gel. When they lost Emma Alaya and she went down with the season-ending injury, it took them a good minute to find a new identity, because she was such a big part of what they did. They look like they finally kind of found it. They could have a chance to win a couple tournament games.
Okay, here's a hot take. Even though Canton South is number 7, and Struthers, if they beat Ashtabula Edgewood, would get the winner of Niles and Canton South, I think Struthers is a district semifinal team. Because they're playing such good basketball right now, the seed, when you look at it, and it was a few weeks ago when they did this, so you know, obviously we're not going to certainly blame anybody for the seeds, because it was done a few weeks ago. Struthers is a team that is playing such good basketball right now, it can carry them into places where you didn't expect them to be a month ago. I think this is a district semifinal team.
That's how hot. I mean, like, we believe in Struthers. They can do it. They're going to be competitive in that game. But we saw what Canton South did to Salem, and that defense is legit. And Struthers, you know, they're going to miss Emma Alaya in that game.
Absolutely, they will. Absolutely.
But yeah, I think I have confidence that Struthers can be a lot scarier than people think they are in this tournament.
Now they got to get past Ashtabula Edgewood, because I hope I didn't put the Maluki on them.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I don't want to put the Maluki on anybody. Number 25 Field is at number 13 Streetsboro. Number 23 Ravenna.
No, that last game. Say it again. Streetsboro playing.
Streetsboro's playing a home game against Mogadore Field.
Field had to forfeit that game, so Streetsboro goes straight to Salem in the next round.
Okay. So Streetsboro will wind up playing at Salem. Yeah. So there you go.
COVID caught the...
And they're not the only ones, unfortunately. That's 2 teams now in this tournament that will be bounced, Hubbard being the other team. We mentioned Ravenna at number 10, Notre Dame Cathedral Latin. Chagrin Falls will visit number 6, Kenston. Kenston's another team in District 1. Keep an eye on them. They're not a bad basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, that Division 1 has a lot of schools outside of our coverage area that you really have to watch out for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kenston, Notre Dame Cathedral Latin's a 10 seed, but they play a tough schedule.
Yes, they do.
Got to watch for them, too.
All right, the second district in Division 2, Jefferson will be hosting Paynesville Harvey. Cardinal Mooney is hosting East. I'll throw another hot take and just say it right now. Cardinal Mooney is playing such good basketball that they're not only a threat to go to district, they're a threat to go to regional.
Yeah, and well, you can say that from a lot of teams in this particular bracket, because it's so deep, and so many quality teams in there. West Geauga, you cannot sleep on them. They went 22-4 last year. They returned everybody, so they might be. I think they're 5-3, 5-4 right now, but they started in January. That's going to affect you, and they play a tough schedule. So do not sleep on West Geauga in that district.
And oh, by the way, West Geauga is playing at Southeast, and it wouldn't surprise me if West Geauga beat Southeast.
Right. And then West Geauga would get Mooney if Mooney was able to take care of business and win.
Yeah, and that's where if Mooney were to get past West Geauga, then I really believe that they're good enough.
That's the ticket. That'd be like the game of the day for Saturday if Mooney plays West Geauga. Like if you didn't have a team playing and you want to say, what game should I watch on Saturday? What game should I pay that money to watch?
Absolutely. We already mentioned Hubbard. They were supposed to host Girard. They've been hit with COVID. Their season is over.
Such a tough blow, because
it is.
We've talked about it before. Hubbard's a team looking for their first tournament win in 8 years. The last time they played Girard, it was a 1-point game, 52-51. Girard won. But you got to think that because of that, they had a legitimate chance to win that game. It's hard to beat someone 3 times. So they were competitive. They would have chances to win. And if they would have won their first tournament game in 8 years, that would have been really big for building that program.
It certainly would have. And, unfortunately, Mogadore Field and Hubbard both are out of the tournament thanks to COVID. And I would like to say they're going to be the only 2 teams that are going to be out of the tournament because of COVID, but we'd be lying.
Yeah, Beaver Local also had to forfeit their game over in the East District.
Yes.
So they're not in the Northeast districts with most of our YSL.
Yeah, they're east, but they're right. in the river east.
Right.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Beaver Local had to forfeit their game against. I'm not
100% sure.
I know the winner of that game would have played the winner of the East Liverpool game. So we lose.
Was it Edison that they were supposed to play?
No, we lose. It was a non-YSN school.
Okay.
But we lose the potential of the Beaver Local East Liverpool matchup in the next round, unfortunately.
Which would have been fun.
Would have been fun.
Because, for those that are not familiar with that rivalry, it's a rivalry. They don't like each other.
They don't like each other.
They really don't like each other. Cheney is going to visit number 5 West Branch. That'll be an interesting game.
I'm interested to see how West Branch puts their best foot forward in this tournament, because we've said it before. Coach Walter Shields, he kind of flips the switch when tournament time hits, and that program knows how to win tournament games. And they're a 5 seed, which you might say a little underseeded. I get it, because Marlington beat them twice, and you can't put them ahead of Marlington, of course, and then Salem beat them, split with them.
Yep.
But that split didn't come before the vote.
No.
So at that time, Salem had beat them and Marlington had beat them, so you can't put them at 4 or 3. So they kind of got stuck with the 5 seed, but it's a very dangerous 5 seed because they just know how to win.
Well, it's a deep tournament as well. The 4 teams that are going to get buys, by the way, number 1, Perry, who gets the winner of Geneva and Lakeview. Number 4, Salem, who gets Streetsboro. Number 2, Poland, who gets the winner of Harvey and Jefferson. And if it's Jefferson, it'll be the 3rd meeting between those 2 teams. And number 3, Marlington, gets Girard. So, it's yikes. We'll see what happens there. Do you like any upsets in this Division II tournament? At least in the sectional openers.
I think that the upset seed-wise would be West Geauga beating Southeast. I don't see it as an upset because of how good I know West Geauga is. But, the 6 seed beating the 11 seed beating the 8 seed, it's still an upset as far as seeds go. So that'd be my pick for an upset watch.
That's probably where I'm gonna fall as well, because I would love to sit back and say, hey, we think Chagrin Falls has a chance at beating Kenston. Well, they're 2 out of area teams. I'd love to sit back and if you're Youngstown East, but you're probably not gonna beat Cardinal Mooney. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm with you. I think the biggest upset is going to be number 11 West Geauga over number 8 Southeast, and I don't even think that's an upset because West Geauga is a really good basketball team. All right, Division III. There are 6 games that are going to be played tonight. Number 21 Crestwood is at number 1 South Range. Number 17 Waterloo is at number 6 Crestview. Number 18 Mogador is at number 3 Brookfield. That's in the 1st district. In the 2nd district, number 19 St. Thomas Aquinas is at number 2 Garrettsville Garfield. Number 11 Liberty is at number 7 Kirtland. And number 16 Pymatuning Valley is at number 12 Columbiana. What do you think?
I think Liberty can absolutely go on the road and beat Kirtland. I've seen them play a couple of times. They run and gun. They're so fast. They're so athletic. They're young. So at times when things go wrong, they tend to really go wrong. They have a hard time kind of bouncing back from a little bit of adversity in a game. But Demi Watson and Aaliyah Foster, I always get that confused. Aaliyah Foster can both really ball for that team. And then Mia Parker, they can really have some range from outside. They have the pieces there. They're just really young, and they have a short bench because of injury. But they can definitely go up to Kirtland and get an upset in that game.
This is either going to be a blowout loss of epic proportion because it's going to go sideways and into the ditch real quick.
It can.
Or Liberty is going to stun everybody and smoke Kirtland. I don't think it's going to be a close game
I
either
wish,
way.
I wish I knew about Kirtland, and if they're one of those slow teams that likes to play slow tempo,
Oh, no.
they're in trouble. But
Yeah.
I have a hard time feeling like I feel like there's probably a couple of soccer players on that team, and we know that they like to run at the girls' soccer team.
Yeah.
So I feel like the athleticism is there for Kirtland. So I feel like they're probably not a team that likes to slow it down a little bit and play half-court offense.
And let's be honest, they're Kirtland. Kirtland means winning, and yeah, it's just that's a tough draw for Liberty. But
If I'm Columbiana, I'm watching out. I'm keeping my ears perked back against Pinewood Valley because they're a team that not a lot of people know about. They play up in Portage County. They play against teams that are out of the area, so no one really talks about them. But they can sneak up on you real quick. So I would be careful if I was Columbiana.
Grace Whitmer needs at least 2 people to get off and have solid games tonight.
Good thing she has Tori Long who can really do it, and I think Columbiana will be fine as long as they don't overlook Pinewood Valley. Same thing with Crestview. You cannot overlook
No.
Waterloo.
No.
They'll be fine if they don't. I think they match up pretty well, but Crestview you've seen them. They have some times when they don't exactly go 100%.
They're
Sneak up on
it's
you.
a frustrating team at times because you look and see all this talent, and they don't play up to their potential.
You can
But
say
not
that-
all the time.
You can say that about a lot of teams.
You're right. There's a lot of teams that are the same way, but it's frustrating when teams don't play to their full potential.
Right.
I'm with you. I think Waterloo, if they get hot, they can at most definitely go into Crestview and knock off Crestview tonight. But we'll see. We'll
One
see
of the
what
things
happens.
that you're going to have to look for is if Rose Couch pushes tempo like she's capable of and doesn't struggle with confidence and slow the ball down before when she has transition opportunities, that's going to be a big key for the Vikings.
No, that's not going to work.
That's not gonna
Yeah, that was a fax phone. All right, so I think of the 6, District 2 could be all upsets, but I'm sorry, 2 in District 2 and 1 in District 1. I'm not going to call for any upsets, though. I think it goes straight chalk. And I'd love to see Liberty knock off Kirtland, but like I said, the kids are too young. That might work to their advantage, but it's Kirtland. I'm leery every time anyone plays Kirtland because that program is crazy, crazy in a good way. Division 4, the Kennedy girls go to McDonald. Kennedy is 22, McDonald is 1. Lordstown is number 20. They'll go to number 8, Springfield. Number 17, Heartland Christian is at number 9, Valley Christian. Number 14, Sebring is at number 3, Newton Falls. That's in District 1. I'm going to tell you right now, Heartland Christian can beat Valley Christian.
That's 2 teams with 2 absolute unbelievable superstars in Kristen Gill and Maddie Matthews. Kristen for Valley and then Maddie Matthews for Heartland. They both can get their points wherever they want on the floor. It doesn't matter. They can drive on you. They can shoot real well. It's going to be really, really fun to watch those 2 go at it on both defense and offense.
And whoever has the supporting cast will wind up winning the game. I mean, that's the end of that. District 2, number 23, Wellsville is at number 2, Western Reserve. Number 16, Lisbon is at number 7, Maplewood. Number 11, Cardinal travels to number 10, Leetonia. Number 19, Badger is at number 6, Jackson Milton. I don't know much about Maplewood. I know the Leetonia girls played them and competed really well against them.
They can shoot if they're open. I mean, last year they hit 8 threes in a corner, which is second in the history of the state and as far as 3-pointers in a corner. So they can shoot, but they can also not do much else. I mean, because they played South Range on YSN last week, and they didn't hit any threes. South Range completely took their perimeter game away from them, and they just didn't have anything else they could really go to. They had 25 points total, and so if you shut down their shooting ability, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
I feel like Lisbon has a really good chance of going up to Maplewood and getting this job done.
If they can hold them off the 3-point line, because Maplewood lives and dies by the 3. So, I think if Lisbon can catch them on a night where maybe their shots aren't going in or they defend the 3-point line really well, then they're going to be a beatable team.
All right,
for sure.
Upsets in Division 4.
Heartland beating Valley.
I'm with you on that one.
I think that's going to be an upset.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And I can see Lisbon going into Maplewood and knocking them off. Badger and Jackson Milton. Jackson Milton they're good, but they have that tendency to have a couple of lulls as well.
What I like about Jackson Milton is they have 3 players that can beat you in 3 different ways. So they don't have 3 shooters. They don't have 3 drivers or 3 post players or whatever. Maybe they have 1 post player that's pretty good, 1 guard that can drive like crazy in Chelsea Williams, and 1 guard that can shoot like crazy in Kylie Wilson. So they have 3 people that can do 3 separate things really well. So I think that makes them really hard to defend.
Should be entertaining. Those are the games tonight. D2, D3,
and I think I have
D4.
Jackson Milton, if I remember right, in the district semis.
You go up to North Jackson.
So
there you go. Well, you'll find out just how good Badger is. We'll find out.
Badger.
2 games last night, 2 boys basketball games. That was it. The rest of them, they shut it down real quick.
Springfield was not going to have that game canceled because they wanted that share of the MVAC. They wanted to get that win so they could say that they share it officially.
Well, they still got work to do, though. They got to play Waterloo and they got to play Sebring yet.
They didn't want to miss a game and be held accountable to that because there was nowhere else to put it. The girls host a tournament game tonight, so they couldn't play tonight.
Yeah.
There was just nowhere to put that game, and they were not going to lose a league game with the chance to share the crown.
And as it turns out, it really wasn't that bad. It was actually a real nice night, and I was at the Springfield game, and they started out hot, and they didn't stop.
You called that game for us, didn't you?
72-57 of victory. Brungard had 18. R.J. Smith couldn't miss from three-point range. I think he had 5 threes last night, 4 of them in the first half.
Put a D right in front of there, and it'll be Dr. J.
Yeah,
instead of RJ. You know what I'm saying? With that kind of shot.
he was on fire last night for sure. Adam Worry had 17. Rothwell had 12. Medvick had 7.
Man, they had so many people that could beat you.
They didn't have a bench last night. This was their starters, and all of their starters scored 72.
Boom.
I mean, it was impressive, and they couldn't miss from the free throw line. That was what really impressed me. They were 17 of 20 from the foul line last night. That's just ridiculous. And they hit their first 12 in a row.
Division III districts are going like.
Yeah, I was impressed by that. And then you had Newton Falls knocking off Crestview, which I thought was a solid win for Newton Falls. Again with the facts.
Is that on our end? Because that's the second time that's happened.
Whoever's calling in is they got I don't know if they're calling in from a fax or what, but that's god awful.
I don't know. I hope that's not Coach Campbell.
I hope
I'm
not.
Have to reach out to our people.
Well, we're going to have to take a time out and see. But before we do, Newton Falls knocked off Crestview last night, 62-54. Rebels were actually down by 2 at halftime. Newton Falls outscored them 13-6 in the third quarter and extended the lead. And then Crestview had to catch up, and it wasn't going to work.
Right.
So the Rebels fall to 8-12. I think they've lost 5 of their last 6 games. That's a tough stretch for them, and that's not a good way to go into the tournament. Newton Falls now 7-2, tied for first place with Liberty and LeBray, and we'll see. We'll see what happens in terms of who wins the gray tier. All right, we're going to take a timeout. The YSU softball coach is set to join us in a few minutes, so we're going to take a timeout. Hopefully get him on board, and we'll talk some YSU women's softball coming up. It is a Wednesday edition of Running Point. Happy Pitchers and Catchers Day, reporting day today. All of the pitchers and catchers are into the 30 Kemps, so happy Pitchers and Catchers Report Day in Major League Baseball. Just wanted to throw that out there. All right, we'll talk some women's softball coming up in a bit. Stick around.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home. to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from Ksquared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call Ksquared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back to a Wednesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hartwig. It's by far and away the coldest day of the year, and yet we're going to talk baseball and softball. Right now we're going to talk some softball because joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, the head softball coach at YSU, Brian Campbell. Coach, how are you today, sir?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedule. You guys were supposed to start last weekend, and Mother Nature decided to not allow you to start last weekend. So this weekend, fingers crossed, you're going to be starting your season up.
Yes, the cold front going down south. We usually head south, and that's what we're running into with all the cold air and the rain, snow, all deep south. So yeah, it's a little different as far as this year with that weather that we've run into. So
you weren't going anywhere near Texas, I hope.
No.
Well, it is all the way down in Texas too. Yeah, that's it's something that's in all my years, I think it's one of those that just seems like we're getting snow, and and also the temperatures are just down there in the 20s and 30s. So, but we at the end of it, we're excited about with our conference coming up. We do host UIC there. Our first opening weekend, we end up playing there. So with us, if the temperatures go up a little bit with our turf field, outfield and stuff, it gives us a really good opportunity to play.
Coach,
start to come.
You guys haven't played in a while. I mean, it's been a minute since you guys have been back on the softball field. Talk about the excitement of just getting back on and playing someone other than yourself and being able to play this weekend.
Well, I know being cut short, under the circumstances last year, which we completely understand. We were down in Memphis, in 2020 there, and we got the call, to be for our season because of what took place. And, I think the uncertainty when you go through that a little bit, with the players and then being able to come back and work on the fall, a little bit of scrimmaging against each other. We couldn't play our 8 games outside competition in the fall, but we did get a lot out of it, just more of a fundamental practices that we worked on and breaking a lot more stuff down. So, and some of them did, Anthony, they did have an opportunity. Some of them do play summer ball, that still went on, and stuff like that. So, but as far as our competition, I think, top of my head, I think it was March 14th. No, actually, that's the day we came back. It would have been the 12th, I think, is the last time we played.
for a mid-major that is in the Midwest that experiences cold weather and snow and everything that Mother Nature throws our way in the wintertime, how important is the Watt Center to the softball program?
Well, I think it's a tremendous asset that we have, being able to get into the Watts. And if you've been in the Watts, you can see that when you lower those nets, there's the surrounding nets, and then you lower the center field net at 50. You can actually put a softball field inside of it, exception of one side, either right field or left field could be short. But you get pretty much everything, there. So that's benefited us when we've had opportunities, going in there. Most of the fall we're outside, and then we start obviously the spring there in January and in February. But, there's times also with our turf field that we've actually practiced on our field in February. So don't see it this year right now because we haven't, because of weather. But the Watts facility is just a tremendous asset to, our program and other programs, just being able to go inside and be able to get a lot of work done. So,
Coach, when we talk YSU Football Weekly, we talk about their ability to recruit in the area, and you're no different. You have several girls from our YSN family that are coming to play for you that we have a good eye on. How much importance do you put on making sure that the girls in this Youngstown area get recruited to YSU and making sure that you can plant the flag in your area when you're recruiting?
Well, I'll approach it, as, I've always been, local, regional, and outside of. And, we do have, some young ladies that are local players that are on our roster right now. I think it's awesome for them to have an opportunity to play at their home school, their home college, there with the players that, we do have on the roster. So.
Coach, when you take a look at the Horizon League, how good of a mid-major conference is the Horizon League year in, year out?
Well, I look at a lot of it just by some of the schools, the competition, and we're in the we have the ability, a lot of the schools in the Horizon, to play other conferences that are in our region or area. So I think that's helped us a lot throughout the Horizon League, being able to play a lot of different conferences that are kind of close to each school. Each school has different conferences that surround them. So I think that has always been a benefit with us and the other programs in the Horizon League.
Coach, your pitching staff is stacked, to say the least, this year. Can you talk about your pitchers and what YSU fans can expect from the softball team in the Circle?
Well, we have the luxury this year. We do have Maddie, which is come back for her year here. That's done a tremendous job for us. Last year, I think she started out 3-3 and was right around the 2.9 ERA. Going for the 15 games that we got to play last year, and then we had Ellie that is 4 years. This is her fourth year here, and she was 4-2. That did a great job last year and she had a good amount of strikeouts just to start. In the 48 innings, I think she pitched it. She was right around 59, 60 strikeouts. So, that was. Something. And then we also have, Kayla, that is also a part of the roster there. Being able to get some innings there last year. And again, we were cut short, in last year's season. And then we were able to bring in, a freshman, local player, Sophie Howe, that, has looked really good. So, I look at it going into, this year with having the ability to have the forearms that we have and, mixture with, some of the players that we do have, that have returned and have gotten some experience or received some experience. I think that's a great mixture. So, but I'm excited with what we have in the circle.
Youngstown State University softball coach Brian Campbell joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Aside from your pitching staff, how great of a competition have you had for the positions across the diamond and in the outfield in this offseason, Coach?
Well, I this was one of the first years, being the fact that we didn't have any fall games, it gave us an opportunity to kind of just move players around. Give them more opportunities to play a couple different positions, and kind of make those changes. And it gave us more time to kind of look at everything. I know in the past that most of the players, come in and you might have a couple utility players that play a couple different positions, and most of them stick right where they're at or what they've been able to play throughout their years. But being the fall the way it was, it really gave an opportunity for a number of players to move around and make the competition and, be able to make some different changes and those things there. And from a lot of the players, Nikki Saban last year started out, she did a tremendous job for us. She's a 4-year, player, and obviously got Maddie Lusk, and Alex was our shortstop that, be a sophomore this year, and Yaz is center fielder that has done a great job in Grace. And, I can continue on, some of those players, but, just being able to move them around and kind of have them look at a couple of positions, it kind of opened up, some opportunities, which always is great.
Softball fans love pitchers who can hit, and you got Maddie Lusk, who has a career ERA just over 3, but then you look at her batting statistics, she's got a career batting average just south of 300. What's it mean to you to not have to lose a bat in the lineup when she starts in the circle?
Well, I think that's a great opportunity, and now you don't always have that opportunity, and some don't. Pitchers don't hit, but with Maddie, it's one of those things that Maddie, not only does she pitch, she also plays a position player. So she does play a position when she's not in the game pitching. So I think that together has kind of helped us when she's on the mound too. That we're able to utilize a DH potentially somewhere else, or we go to a straight 9, not 10 batters. I'm sorry, 10 in the lineup. So it does open up options. But she also, again, she does play other positions and has done a great job in those 2 areas too. So, it's one of those things that she has the ability to be able to do that.
YSU head softball coach Brian Campbell joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Now, it's been a while, as we mentioned, since the last time you laced him up and started playing softball. This past weekend, you were supposed to play. Everyone's excited. Then the rug gets pulled out from under you. How deflating was it for these kids to have to wait another week before you start playing softball? And is everyone now back to that excitement level that you had prior to last weekend?
Well, I know that when you talk with the players, in any, any aspect of it, it's this year and last year, it's about just adjusting. When you go into it, now we throw the weather in to the mix this year and stuff like that. So, it's about just adjustment, and that's the way we've approached it this year. As far as you make your adjustments and you move forward, and and if one team or any softball wise, just stuff that when you go through something that that ended last year, and then they have a chance to be able to come back and do something that they love and enjoy, and I think they understand it more because of that. The position that they were in from last year. So, but I look at it as it's all about the adjustments, and the excitement, and everything else. You're talking about young ladies that enjoy playing this game, and really, have fun doing it. And, you could have a hitting contest with practice and you're going to see competition, so it's just part of who they are. Anytime that something or some kind of little fun game it turns into a competition, and, and that's fun to see. They're enjoying it and having a great time. So,
Coach, you've been at YSU for a while. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe 13th season you're going into at YSU. The game of softball has grown so phenomenally in the last 10 years. What's been the biggest growth or change that you've experienced as a college softball coach, seeing the world of college softball and how much it's grown over the years?
I'm excited. I know, yes, it is my 13th year here, and I've coached in college for 25 years now, not to give my age away, but it's something that it's exciting to see the growth of softball. It's one of those things that, when I first started, years back, 25 years ago, it wasn't as, big, I guess, in a certain aspects. But the growth and what coaches have done, as far as the college coaches and those things there and programs, it's truly exciting to see, these young ladies just have opportunities to play a game that they love and they love doing. And I think that's just any time that softball has taken the steps that they've done, I think it's exciting for all around, for fans, and also, especially for these young ladies that play the game.
YSU head softball coach Brian Campbell joining me and Anthony on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. So, Coach, what are the goals for this team this year as you embark on the start of the 2021 softball season?
Well, we break it down in three areas. Obviously, pitching, defense, and hitting, and we've always had the goals to be able to put all three of those together when we play. Sometimes you might struggle in one area, but you hope that one of the other two areas picks that area up. But it just to try to work our way through to putting those three areas, the hitting, the defense, and pitching, all together, and continuously be able to do that game in, game out, inning by inning, out by out. And that's one thing that, you see sometimes, and I've been in it a long time, and there's times where the offense will step up for the day, and you can pick up a defense and can potentially pick up a pitcher. And then there's days that, that the defense and pitching has to carry the offense a little bit if it's a low-scoring game. So, just trying to put everything together. I think that is one of the one things that I've always tried to preach when I've been through, through these years is when you're able to put those together and all three of them, and you hope that you're able to come out on top at the end of it.
This weekend, you got Norfolk and Morehead State. Can you kind of preview this weekend and what Penguins fans should look to see from you guys and the opponent as well?
Well, I mean, I just want to look at, the whole aspect. I know that, going down through it, with our conference and, going to a 4-game series, to me, just talking a little bit about conference-wise is something that is different. Normally we have a 3-game series. Now we've changed to a 4-game series. So, I think that's exciting because it's that extra game that we have. It's 40 conference games this year compared to, I think, 27 it's been in the past. So I think that, when you look at the overall picture, and that's what we're building for, is going into that conference, conference opponents. And, and I think when you look at 4 games, the strategy changes a little because normally it's just the 3. So, we've looked more at that aspect with conference, being able to see what kind of, we've not been through that. So, kind of gives us a chance to kind of be able to look and break things down, a little bit more because of the 4-game series.
Coach, before we let you go, break down the Horizon League, because it's, as we mentioned before and earlier in the interview, it's a really good league for mid-major schools, and it's going to be competitive as all get out this year.
Yeah, this year we have 10 teams in the Horizon League. I do feel that the Horizon is a good competition, great conference, and when you look at 4 of the top 4 teams going to the tournament this year, is what we have set. There's a number of teams that'll be fighting to get into those 4 spots with the competition. So, I know we were picked right behind UIC as far as being second preseason favorite there to be in second place. And but when you look at a lot of the stuff, and you're going off a little bit of last year, even though that this short year was, so you're kind of looking at a lot of that, and there was some programs in the Horizon that might have had a few games, but they did a really good job there too. So you're kind of going into it a little blind because you've been out of conference for a year now. So but we do have a number of schools there that I think that we'll compete for those 4 spots, and I think that's what makes it exciting.
When you look at your roster, it's a little bit expanded this year, and you're not the only coach in the country to deal with a little bit more people than you're used to. When you look at the kind of opportunities that everyone's going to get, the first couple weekends, how are you going to navigate trying to get everyone reps, but also trying to set a lineup before conference play hits?
Well, I mean, when you look at that, and I think it goes back to us having this opportunity there in the fall to have players move around. When you had that opportunity, and we've been able to do that, you could utilize players, even though your roster size is just a little bigger, and we're not the only ones, like you said, that are dealing with it this year. But you're able to utilize some of the players and some of the strengths. It's benefited us, really has benefited us going through the fall with being able to, not be able to play those 8 games, but it's also been a positive because it's given us opportunities to see that, some young ladies defensively that, they'll get their playing time defensively. There's pinch hitters, there's runners, there's, other kids that are rotating around that get some starts and stuff. So, I think that's how, you utilize the roster as best as you can. And you also have to look at what each individual player's strength is. And again, during the fall, it really helped us to pinpoint, some of the players' strengths. So I think that at the end of it, it was a positive.
And it certainly it sounds like it could very well be a blessing in disguise long-term for you, Coach.
Yes, I mean you get the experience. I think that when you have a roster and we have a younger team, if you want to look at it that way, we have 7. If I'm not mistaken, I know I'm not looking at the roster, but I think there's 7 freshmen that was on last year's roster that was cut short. And we have 6 players that are freshmen, so there's 13 players that are considered true freshmen. So, when you get that opportunity to, get in there and be able to play whatever aspect it is, you're definitely getting them experience, and that will help them. It even goes up to, every class. Anytime a player gets an opportunity to get in there and be able to get some experience, it does help them as individuals. It helps the team, and in the long run, it does help the program also.
Brian Campbell, head softball coach at Youngstown State University. Best of luck to you this year. I know my partner is really looking forward to seeing your product this spring, and we wish you nothing but the best, sir.
Brian knows how big of a softball fan I am, so.
No, I definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me today.
You got it. He is the head softball coach at Youngstown State University, Brian Campbell. joined us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Should be a fun year at Youngstown State.
They have a lot ahead of them. They're picked second in the Horizon League in the preseason poll, right behind UIC. And I think they definitely have a very good chance to win the Horizon League. But then what you have to do is that tournament gets crazy. So a lot of teams have won the Horizon League regular season and then faltered in the tournament. UIC did it for 3 straight years where they won the regular season and then somebody upset them in the tournament. Not a lot of at-large bids going out for the Horizon League. So you have to make sure that even if you take care of business in the regular season and win that 1 seed, you got to go and you got to make sure you sweep away the tournament and don't let anyone sneak up and steal your spot.
Yeah, it's going to be rare for a mid-major to get more than one spot in that
this
tournament.
Year when there's 40 conference games, not a lot of opportunities for Youngstown State to go schedule Alabama or Mississippi State like they do in the past. Usually YSU travels to at least one tournament where they're going to play a Power 5 team. This is not the case this year. So they really got to make sure that they take care of business in conference and win that tournament.
Yeah, it's you're probably not going to see more than one team this year based on the fact that you're mainly going to be playing your schedule, your conference schedule, and that's about it.
You'd have to really run through the Horizon League and lose like 2 or 3 games to get knocked out of the tournament and then get an enlarged bid. It would have to be something. It would have to be a really special season.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a time out. On the other side, we'll be talking some golf. Our guy from Mill Creek, Brian Tolnar, will be calling in. I was a little concerned about Brian because of the ice that fell down yesterday, and I was a little concerned. I put a call into him and asked just how's this going to affect your golf course, and he said no, it's not going to. I had a blanket of snow under it, so it's always good.
That ice was so thick.
Oh, it took me half an hour to get that damn crap off of my car.
Like, my dog could walk on top of the 3 or 4 inches of snow that we had. Like, it was walking on the driveway. It was just like incredible.
And it didn't crack at all.
And he didn't. He was so confused. My poor dog didn't know where to go to the bathroom because
I know, mine too.
Everything was solid. He was like, what do I do?
Yeah. Mine was looking around, going, okay, where can I go? Where can I go? And he then realized, I don't have anywhere to go. So it's he had to do his business on top of ice. So it is what it is. We're going to take a time out. On the other side, we will hear from Brian Tolnar from Mill Creek. He's coming up next. It is a Wednesday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Local teams are heating up the hardwoods, and you can keep up with all the action on and off the court with Five Guys Hoop News all season long on 21 Sports.
When looking for home design inspiration,
Don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Welcome back to a Wednesday edition. I'm trying to skip a day here. It's a Wednesday edition because if it were Thursday, we wouldn't have this guy on. And this guy is our golf guru from Mill Creek.
Brian, what are you trying to do?
We can't skip Brian. I'm not. That would be like skipping a hole in golf. I'm not going to skip a hole
might help
when I'm
your
playing
score
it.
a little bit.
Well, it would definitely help my score. I mean, but it would be like skipping a hole and playing 9 or 18. I don't want to do that. So joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, our guy from Mill Creek, Brian Tolnar. Brian, how are you today, sir?
Hey, good. How are you guys? It's easy to skip a day this week because the kids are off on Monday, and it's snow day after snow day. And, boy, I tell you what, we didn't have it as good as these kids have it. You know, with the snow and stuff today. Back then, you got 5 to 8 inches of snow. You were still hiking to school, so they got it a lot better than we have it today.
Oh, no question. Now, I put a call into you yesterday because I was more than a little concerned with the ice that was all over the place, and then you assured me that your course was in good shape because you had the snow underneath, or you had the snow on top of the grass, and then you have the ice on top of the snow, so everything is good.
Absolutely. It's certainly a superintendent's nightmare when you get into ice and rain and all of that with sub-zero conditions and anything that's below freezing. So, anything that we can do to prepare, chemicals in the fall and the winter, fertilizers, dormant seed and stuff like that, we're definitely on top of. Even, as early as about 3 or 4 weeks ago before the snow hit, we were still putting some stuff down there to ensure everything would be good this year. But, there's no better savior for ice than Mother Nature's snow. It's a great insulation to keep the greens in good shape. It's a good buffer so the ice doesn't go directly on the plant itself, which is the grass in this case. So it's, we've got protected from Mother Nature. Although she could be tough at certain points of the time, she does help you out, throw you a softy every once in a while to help you out and make sure that your conditions are what they're supposed to be. But blessed to have that layer of snow down before we got the ice for sure.
We did get the ice, but we didn't get hit as hard as maybe the weekend might have predicted we were going to get. I mean, people were saying 8 to 12 inches in some spots of the area. I mean, were you at all kind of nervous going into this week, knowing what the forecast was about to come?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, yes to the fact that, you're always worried about, a huge accumulation of snow equates to water in the spring and runoff and all that. But no to the fact that we did what was necessary to do what we needed to do to prepare the golf course for weather. It always seems, I want to say the past 3 years or so around President's Day, we've gotten hammered with, 3 to 5 inches of snow. So it's kind of not surprising. And, the past probably 6 years or so total, everything seems to have shifted. I think we're a month longer in the fall, and it takes us about a month longer in the spring to prepare for spring. So I think having those in the back of your notes from year to year, it certainly prepares you for the following year. And then, a little bit of it's too, you're excited about getting the sled hill open down at our recreational facility down at Wick Recreation and giving kids an opportunity to be able to go down and sled and do the winter activities that we really haven't had too much of the past 3 or 4 years, and it's been pretty mild. So, you can have it both ways, and, we're fortunate enough to be able to have it that way. But, being prepared and having the data and having your notes from year in and year out to prepare for the following year is certainly everything that you want to be successful the following year. And we talk, a lot to our staff about being prepared, doing your homework, and I think, putting the chemicals down a few weeks ago certainly helped the golf course, and then, obviously the sled hill and being prepared and set up for that. knowing that, at the end of this month we start, flipping everything from a field perspective over to spring, and we, take down the winter activity. So, knowing that we have another 2 weeks left, it's great for the families and kids to be able to get out and offer them an opportunity where, you may be trapped in the house at this point of the year.
Brian Tolnar from Mill Creek, our guest, as we talk golf every Wednesday at this time. Now, before we get into golf, that sled hill that you guys have, that was going to be the hill that I was planning on using had it snowed as much as we all thought it was going to snow. Anthony and I were saying later in the week we were supposed to get this gigantic winter storm, which now we're going to get maybe an inch, which whatever. I'm tired of listening to people now scaring the hell out of us, and we get nothing out of the deal. But if it ever comes a point where we snow at least 6 inches, I'm here to say right now on record at 105 on Wednesday, February the 17th, in the year of our Lord 2021, that I, Ron Potesta, age 56, kid at heart, will take a toboggan and we'll sled ride down that steep hill at Mill Creek. Yes, I will do this if we have a snowstorm.
I'll tell you what, it's a fun spot, and I can recall going back there as a kid, at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and we were fortunate enough to have the ice skating rink open when I was in that age range, so got to ice skate. Wasn't very good at any of it, to be honest with you, but had a lot of fun on that snow hill. Come up and have a little bonfire and a hot, cocoa when you were done, and some popcorn and some candy. It made the day as a kid growing up. So, we are hopeful that we'll be able to return to some of those things. Obviously, with COVID, the gathering of massive amounts of people, the fire pits and the bonfires are sort of off, and our food vendor is not up there as part of that. And we're going to do a construction project here at the warming house up there for an indoor recreation facility. So it'll be the hub of recreation for the metro parks. Our rec department offices will be in there. There'll be a team shop in there. There'll be a new food and beverage area. There'll be an indoor rental facility and some locker rooms for the deck hockey that's up there, the volleyball, and all the other sports that are going on. So, that's some of the stuff that we've been working on over the course of the winter as a staff with the planning department and some architects and the recreation crew, getting those things, so we can go out to bid here shortly. And, we're hopeful that building will be open up come November when we do start getting into some bad weather in December and January again. So it's going to be fun. Still waiting for the COVID handcuffs to come off, like everybody else is. But I think, come April, I think there's a possibility we could be open back up from a recreation standpoint and a programming standpoint. So that's exciting for us. But getting prepared for all of those programs and camps and clinics and schools are certainly something that's on our docket right now. And, we're trying to push to get those filled. And hopefully come the 15th of April, we'll be ready to rock and roll again.
While we're freezing, the PGA Tour is alive and well. This week, the Genesis Invitational from Riviera Country Club just outside of Los Angeles, California. This is a beautiful golf course, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. Last year, was this not the place that Jason Kokrak actually had the lead in the final round and ultimately finished in the top 5?
He did. He plays extremely well there. He also, I want to say, finished second there. He led with a hole or two to go in 2016 as well. So he's got some great history there. Always tends to get a top 10 or top 15 finish there. So, having him back in the field this week after a couple week hiatus, certainly he's going to head to a place that he's familiar with and had some great past history to draw from. And I think he could be one of the names that you talk about at the end of the week. But, just a great facility. Riviera's been around for about 95 years. This event is one of the older events, part of the West Coast swing. Always after Pebble Beach, and, they had Arizona for a couple of them. But it has tremendous history on the PGA Tour at a facility that's been there since 1926, so 2 years older than we are at Mill Creek. Par 71, 7,300 yards, so it does have some length to it. They'll be subject to some cool mornings and cool evenings, just like they were at Pebble Beach. So you see some guys in long sleeves in the middle part of the days when you really want to get lucky enough to draw a good tee time. because it's going to be warmer, and dealing with the grasses that we saw last week, and we kind of projected it. You'll see a lot of putts missed from inside 3 feet just because the greens tend to get bumpy at certain points of the day. So I think as we think about that, you're going to still have those conditions. With the POA greens as we head to Riviera. It's an event that's sponsored by the Tiger Woods Foundation. It's an invitational event, which means that it's a field that's limited on who can make it there. Invitational fields are anywhere from 120 to 156 players. This field this week is going to be set at 120. Was at 121 before Daniel Berger had to withdraw with the back issues. But they're going to keep it at that 120 number. I think probably one of the better fields that the PGA has had in the past couple weeks, being a more of a full field event, more of a tour event, where you had the, obviously not the Pro-Am portion of last week's Pebble Beach because of the COVID, but up until this point, you've had some events that were running up against Super Bowl. You had the Tournament of Champions, which was limited to 28 or 36 players, and then you had your first event that was out in Hawaii beyond the Tournament of Champions. So I think, having said that, this will be our first normal field as the PGA Tour strikes back in LA.
Back to normal, so I'm expecting a normal Power 5 from you. So who do you have as your sleepers and Power 5 for this week?
Well, this week we'll start off with the sleepers. A lot of folks have Bryson DeChambeau as their pick to win it this week. I have him as a sleeper, knowing that he's been off for a little bit, really trying to home his game in. And, he's concentrated, probably the past 2 years on building muscle and hitting the ball 9 miles, from a distance perspective. But, with that distance, you still have to have the ability to get it up and down. And, not playing a couple events on the PGA Tour, your short game and your putting tends to be a little bit rusty under tournament conditions. So that's why we have him in as a sleeper this week. My other sleepers, Jason Kokrak, like we talked about earlier, he's got runner-up finish there and a close finish there last year. He led the tournament in 16, with 2 holes to play, and got beat by some good players. I think, having him back in the field this week and getting going certainly will help him get off to a good start before the tour heads to Florida, which I think he'll play well down in Florida as well. But I think, having his familiarity with the golf course, I think he's going to be in contention this week just based on his past play there. Starting off at number 5, we're going to go with the 3-time champ, the 14, 16, and 18 champion, Bubba Watson. I think his creativity for what you need to work around Riviera certainly favors him as a player. Being left-handed certainly favors him as well. He's won the tournament 3 times. Phil Mickelson not in the field this week. Another left-hander has won the tournament twice. So the way that the holes are designed, it really favors a cutting tee shot from a left-hander. So I think, having that in his past success there, Bubba Watson comes in at number 5. Number 4 this week was a runner-up in 18, Tony Finau. Hasn't really played to his expectation level the last couple weeks, but I think he could have a breakout year. Was a runner-up there in 18, didn't play with an ankle injury in 19. So it's nice to be able to see him bounce back and get another shot at Riviera this week. Coming in at number 3, our FedEx Cup leader in the points until last week, Xander Schauffele. Speaking of top 10s all year, he's been around that top 10 number, top 5 number. I think he could break through this week as part of playing well and leading the FedEx Cup up until last week when Patrick Cantlay overtook him from 3 to the first spot. Dustin Johnson's our second and our top 5 this week. He's a 2017 champion. He has a runner-up there and 14 to Bubba Watson. Very familiar with the golf course. His father-in-law, Wayne Gretzky, is a member there, so he's gotten to play a number of rounds in practice and in the off-season. When he's goes out there and plays a lot with Wayne and the family. So, just getting reps on that golf course, albeit not tournament reps, but just spending some time at Riviera, allows you to know to where not to miss it and where to be able to get it up and down the easy spots. The golf course is going to have a ton of 400-plus yard par 4s. There's only one par 4 that's under 400. That's number 10. It's 315 yards. It's a drivable par 4. But it's a par 4 that if you leave it in the wrong spot, it's very, very tough to get it up and down for par and give yourself a birdie opportunity. So I think, based on, Dustin and how he's played there, I think he'll be in the hunt this week. In our number one spot, firing on all cylinders, very good on the West Coast. I think it's just a matter before he breaks through and has a win, 2 or 3 wins this year. It's John Rahm. I think he plays too well. He's too lengthy off the tee. His short game is good on a golf course that you really have to be creative, and you have to depend on your short game to get it up and down, to scratch out a few pars when the going gets tough. And I think, how he's played the past couple weeks, I think he's going to be definitely in the mix, and he's our pick for the week.
I've picked Tony Finau a couple of times last year, and it didn't work out for me. But I got this feeling. And I'm going to pick him this week. He's still looking for his first win, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He is.
So I'm gonna put my suitcase with Tony Finau, and hopefully he can get his first win.
Okay, there are 3 guys that I'm trying to figure out which one of the 3 that I should take. Patrick Cantlay has been ungodly in California this year. And yep. I just wonder if his California streak is going to continue. And let's keep in mind, this golf course that he's going to be playing on, Riviera, is only a couple of miles from his alma mater. So I think he's probably played Riviera a few times back in the day. So I like him. I really like Kokrak this week as well because, he's coming. He's golfing for the first time in a couple of weeks, and it's one of those things where he'll either be in the running for a championship or he won't even make the cut, and nothing in between. So I like him this week. But then there's a guy that golfed on Sunday and was out of his mind the first 9 holes, Maverick McNeely. Did you see that he went 31 on the front 9 at Pebble on Sunday?
I did.
If your name's Maverick, you better show up.
Well, I mean, can he use that Sunday experience at Pebble as a springboard for him to come out of nowhere and win a tournament based on what he did on Sunday and as far as his confidence goes?
I'll tell you what, it definitely can be. Shooting the round that he shot there on Sunday, it was fun watching him play. Certainly, obviously, getting beat by the Eagle on the last hole, was a sort of a dagger getting tossed out of him. But I think, with his experience, he's going to be a fun guy to watch. We talk about Victor Hovland last year in that, sort of new regime of players coming up. I think Maverick McNeely is definitely in that bunch. And I think that, both of those players are going to play extremely well. And I think it's just a matter of time. Growing up on the West Coast, he grew up on Pebble. His dad didn't let him play Pebble until he was at least 16 years of age. So he played a lot of the golf courses around there. I certainly think he could have some good history down at Riviera just because he's used to playing on, POA greens, the rough that you have around the greens, being able to get it up and down. It's very different than the grass that grows here in northeastern Ohio or down in Florida, on the West Coast, because it is a little bit cooler. So the ball has a tendency to sink a little bit where you really have to work it, out of the rough. And I think the player that gets it up and down and has a great short game this week and makes some birdies early on, because the last 4 or 5 holes at Riviera are extremely tough. It's easier to lose the golf tournament on the last 3 or 4 holes than it is to win it, just because birdies are very, very tough to find, especially when you're coming down the stretch. I mean, 17, the par 5, it's a 2 or 3 shot hole par 5, just the way that the hole's laid out. You can make a birdie or 2 there, but, 18, 475 straight up the hill, it's a dog leg. You don't see too many birdies there. You see a lot of playoffs at Riviera because you see a lot of guys, leaking oil coming down the stretch, or a guy making birdie on, 11, 12, 13, and then just making that stretch of pars through 14 through 18. So I think, as a player, like Maverick, where you can get it up and down, you're familiar with the rough, where you have to grind out those pars, especially when you head to Riviera, where you have to coming down the stretch. I think it sets him up well to be a contender this week. Having that in mind with the West Coast, he's used to those conditions, and he's one of those young guys that's not afraid to, shoot a 65, 66 on the weekend like he showed last week at Pebble.
Brian Tolnar from Mill Creek, our guest, as we talk golf every Wednesday at this time. I got to go to the FedEx Cup standings. Right now, Kokrak is 17th in the standings. Now, he hadn't played in a couple of weeks, hence the reason why he dropped. He was in the top 10 for a while there. A strong showing by Jason. Could that get him into the top 10 this week?
I think if he finishes in the top 10 or top 15 this week, I think he's going to start, getting around that 11, 12, 10 number. No one had a better week than Daniel Berger, or better several weeks than Daniel Berger. He jumped from 63 to get into that 10th spot. Pretty much the first three positions on the FedEx Cup this past week really had a shuffle. From 4 to 9 really stayed the same, with the exception of Daniel Berger going from 63 to 10. Patrick Cantlay's played well. Xander Schauffele's played well. Dustin Johnson, we know his body of work. There's no doubt about it. Those guys basically shuffled around from 1, 2, and 3 to 3, 2, and 1, based on how they finished. So Patrick moving up a spot, Xander moving down a spot, and then Dustin moving down a spot as well. But I think if he definitely has a top 10, he'll be close to that top 10 number. He was in the top 10, 2 or 3, 4 weeks ago, and just hadn't played, just hasn't got the points that he needs to contend. But, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's going to play well there. I think he's going to be in that, top 5 or top 6. I think he's got a shot at winning this week. Being that he hasn't played in a little bit, getting those tournament nerves under your belt, I think could get him to the point where he's going to finish nice and strong and nice and high. But it's hard to grade Jason on his body. Hard to give him a grade on his body of work, being that there's a lack of and hasn't played in the past couple of weeks. So, we haven't seen momentum. We haven't seen what's sharp, what isn't in his game. So it's hard to predict where he's going to go. And that's one of the reasons why I tossed him at a sleeper this week, just because we haven't seen much from him, the past couple of weeks. But it's definitely a facility and a golf course and a setup that he tends to do well in. He can bomb it. He can take advantage of the healthy par fours with his length off the tee and his accuracy. And I think if he knocks down some putts and gets it up and down where he has to, he's definitely capable of a top 5. He's definitely capable of winning the tournament. There's no doubt about it, having come so close on a couple occasions.
How hard is it for these guys? I mean, they haven't played in a little bit. These are a lot of them, that's their first time back. Like you said, this weekend will be more of a normal field that we're used to seeing. How hard is it for them to kind of get back into a groove and get back into the PGA caliber of golf week in and week out after taking a little bit of a break?
Well, it's a little bit different than the end of the season, where you've got guys jockeying for position at the FedEx Cup, where you can take a week off if your position's not going to change that much to get into the next event. So guys are basically firing on all cylinders heading into that 3 or 4 week stretch of playoffs and everything that leads into the WGC and the majors and stuff that come at the latter part of the year. Very different than how it is in the spring. It takes players, week to 2 to 3, to get used to the travel again, to get used to the golf courses again, to get used to the practicing and playing at the level that they're normally playing at from a tournament perspective. So it does take them a couple weeks to get their feet underneath them. Very seldom will you see a player that takes 6 or 8 weeks off and come out of the gate and win, the first event that he plays in. It does happen, but it's, it happens by the Tiger Woods. It happens to the Phil Mickelsons, the Adam Scotts that, continue to play and practice at that high level and just don't put them up for a little or extended period of time. There was a guy named Bruce Lipsky that played on the PGA Tour in the 80s and 90s. His caddy played a lot of tricks on him. He put bananas in his bag because his caddy was, bound and determined that Bruce went out and played and practiced when he was home, where Bruce said, I put the clubs away and then I come back and I blow the dust off of them in 2 or 3 months and then start playing. He was one of the few players that can go out there and just turn the switch, and he was tournament ready and won a number of tournaments that way with taking these long breaks. So they put bananas in his bag. They put fruit in his bag. So the caddy, when the clubs arrived at the tournament, his shoes were filled, his bag was filled with stuff, had to get new bags because they were just doing that to see if he really went out and played, where he just didn't. And it sort of worked out for him. A guy that's won, 15 or a dozen times on the PGA Tour and one on the senior tour as well. But, very seldom will you get a player like Bruce Lipsky that, has been able to just, hey, let me shelve my clubs in my garage for 3 months and then come out and we're going to shoot 64, 65 for 3 or 4 straight days and win a tournament by 2 or 3 right out of the gate. But he was one of the players that could do that. other than the Tiger Woodses of the world. So you need a little bit of momentum. You need a little bit of tournament pressure, being able to feel that coming down the stretch, for a matter of a week or two before you start really, grinding it out, and how you would be, towards the latter part of the season when you played, 20-some events on the PGA Tour. Just need a breather just from sheer travel and hitting golf balls.
Okay, so I'm gonna be selfish for a little bit because I have my app out, and there is a weekly contest, PGA Tour contest, that I have on this app that can pay out a lot of money. And now I personally do not spend anything because it's all free. The app is free, everything is free. You're just trying to trying to figure out who is going to be the better golfer for this particular week. I believe it was 2 weeks ago, I didn't get in the money, but I did finish pretty high. I think it was in the 81st or 82nd percentile. So it's essentially is 8 golfers, a golfing matchup, where you have to pick whoever is going to be better in this particular week. For example, Bryson DeChambeau is going up against Brooks Koepka. I picked DeChambeau. Dustin Johnson is going up against John Rahm. I picked Dustin Johnson. Xander Schauffele is going up against Rory McIlroy. I picked Xander. Justin Thomas against Jordan Spieth. I took Justin Thomas. Patrick Cantlay against Colin Morikawa. I picked Cantlay. Will Zalatoris and Victor Hovland. I picked Zalatoris. Adam Scott and Tony Finau. I picked Adam Scott. Francisco Molinari and Scotty Scheffler. I picked Molinari. And then you have to pick the winner of the tournament and how low is he going to score. I took Kokrak, 12 under par. Am I going to do anything right this weekend?
I'll tell you what, I like that lineup. There's no doubt about it. And talking to you offline yesterday, everybody's picks last week just killed it. We had, like everybody, within the the top 5, the top 6, the top 8. But I like that lineup, and I like the fact that 12 under is a good number. Considering the tournament record is 20 under by Lanny Watkins, one of the older records that are held on the PGA Tour at a venue, and it was from 1985. Coming down to the stretch of this tournament, like we talked about, it's very tough to make birdies when you need them, and it's easier to make bogeys than it is birdies in that final 4 or 5 holes. So, keeping that in mind, 12 under is a great number, and there's no doubt about it. But someone challenging the tournament record, I don't see anybody touching it. Even Dustin Johnson, if he's firing on all cylinders, to shoot 20 under at Riviera, it's very, very tough. The rough is too tough. The driving accuracy is too demanding. The positioning from the fairway, you just got to have yourself in the right spots and right scenarios. But I like all your picks. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, there's 2 that I'm wondering. Should I put Hovland instead of Zalatoris, and should I take Finau instead of Adam Scott?
You know what? Adam Scott's the defending champion, so you always would think the defending champion over whoever, just based on their body of work there in the past. Will they win again? Probably not, but I think he's going to play better than Hovland. And then who was the other one, Finau and
I had Victor Hovland or Will Zalatoris and Adam Scott or Tony Finau.
I'd go Adam Scott, and I would go, wow, this is a tough one. I'd go Tony Finau based on past history. Not to knock Zalatoris because he's leading the Corn Ferry Tour.
Okay, well, Tony Finau is up against Adam Scott this week. Zalatoris is up against Victor Hovland.
I would go Zalatoris and Scott.
Okay,
my 2 guys.
That's who I got. So, and by the way, if it's a tie, I get the 10 points. Obviously, if the guy's better, I get the 10 points. So it's essentially what you need to do is score in the low 100s to get into the money.
Okay.
And I think I had 80 or 85 last week, so I didn't get into the money.
How many points do you get if you guess the winner right?
That's a good question. I mean, if I get the winner, the exact score is 15 points, and the winner is, I believe, 40. So
wow, so they're putting a lot of weight on the winner and not a lot of weight if you guess the exact score.
yeah, so I think it's the possibility of like 135 is a perfect score, and if you get a perfect score, you get the entire
Here's the money, just take
the
it.
entire kit and caboodle, which I think is $100,000 or $50,000, one or the other.
Ron might not show up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where's Ron? Oh, he won 100,000.
Ron went to Riviera. He won a lot of money this weekend.
Getting the entire score for the 135 is almost like picking every team of the 68 in the NCAA.
Yeah, exactly. Hence the reason why they're probably not going to be giving this money away. But I just looked at this and I thought, wait a second, I got a ringer on the phone. He can tell me what's going on here. I mean, it's kind of like a fantasy football league expert, except it's golf. So I'm gonna pretty much be calling you up every week to adjust my and of course if I'm in the money, you're gonna get a good healthy chunk of this. So
there you go. We created a monster.
There you go. Oh Lordy. All right. So when this weather is all pretty much taken care of and the snow is melted and let's fast forward maybe a month or so. When do you anticipate the opening of Mill Creek for the golfers?
Well, I always use in the back of my mind about the 15th of March. We'll get the pro shop open, fully, during the week with set hours and back 7 days a week. That time frame, last year we probably could have been open the last week of February because it flipped that quickly. It was in 70 degrees. We were open the first week of March for play. We were open 6 days and then had to close it down for 2 months because of the COVID stuff and the shutdown and all of that. But I think realistically about the 15th of March, our leagues and stuff will start and sign-ups for our leagues and league meetings and banquets, spring banquets will usually start around the first, the second week in April. And then, usually, shortly thereafter, practice rounds will be a week or two for our golf leagues. And then, we're off and running from that standpoint. So, for us, our magic numbers, March 15th in the back of our minds, just from that perspective. And I think, obviously this time of year is my favorite time of year. And the reason I say that is, you've got baseball just starting. You've got the NCAA tournament a couple weeks out. You've got golf, and you got the Masters to follow that. Once the Masters is on, it's off to the races because the advertising people, get cabin fever, and they're saying, I'm watching whoever plays, that first weekend in April at the Masters. I want to come out and play. I want to come out and hit balls. I want to come out and buy merchandise. So, to be able to be ready by, the 1st of April, you pretty much have to in this part of the country. So I think, it's a great time for us, being a sports junkie and, watching all of these sports and having everything come together at the same time is certainly exciting. So March 15th is really our target date. Camps and clinics and stuff, April, May, June, July, August. We do have a little bit in the fall as well in September and October. But, we're action-packed with whether it be golf events, recreation events. We're hopeful our board in the April meeting on the 12th will vote and say, hey, we're going to lift the restrictions and you guys can have your camps and your clinics and all of that stuff. So, any way that we look at it, we're going to be ready for whenever they give us the green light. We're prepared and we're ready. So I think, I'm excited to start back up. Now it's just a matter of getting the snow out of here and looking at some grass and, cutting some grass and getting some people. Putting some faces back in the pro shop and getting them on the golf course again.
All right, Brian, you made mention the gear that you guys have, the clubs, the apparel and whatnot. Let's say that someone wanted to get a head start and start buying some apparel and start buying some golf clubs for the upcoming season. Are you guys open for that business?
We are, semi-open. You can buzz the buzzer. Our offices are upstairs in the field house. You buzz it, we'll come down and sell you whatever you need. We've got our Callaway product is now in, our Odyssey putters, Donald Ross clothing, Monterey clothing, Antigua's on the way. Our headwear is starting to roll in. Towels, some accessories are rolling in by the day. Pretty much by the end of this month, we'll have everything, ready to go and the shop set up and, the displays and stuff out. But, we're starting to chip away at those as the product rolls in and get that positioned in the shop where we want it and, new shelving and some other stuff in the pro shop. But, if you need something, like I said, we have the new drivers. They're in stock. They're here. Stop out, hit the buzzer, we'll come down and we'll get you all set up. If it's in stock, we have it. If not, we can special order it and have it here between 5 and 7 business days. So, the companies are very, very good with, if you're a fitting account, making sure that you get the custom fitted product. Sometimes, if you get fitted on a Monday, we can have the product here on a Friday based on the availability at any of the companies that we deal with. So that's a nice, feather to have in your cap. You get fitted, you don't have to wait months and months on end to get your equipment. Golf balls are in now. Shoes, half of my order of shoes are in. So, they're just starting to roll in, little pieces every single day. So it's exciting.
The reminder to buyers, you want to get the club, not get the club, what we're saying. Ron asked me this a couple of days ago on Running Point. I want to get your take because you are a universal sports fan. You like a lot of sports, and we have you on for golf, but we know that you like. So what's your favorite time of year as far as the sports calendar goes? Right now is a kind of busy year. We got baseball starting to get kicked back up. We got March Madness right around the corner. You could pick, the December when the NFL's in their playoff push and the NBA starting to get cracking with all their big matchups. What's your favorite time of year on the sports calendar?
Well, if I can pick two, it would be right now, spring, early spring, and late fall when collegiate football starts back up. And the reason I say that is as soon as summer starts for me, my friends call me Houdini. I disappear just because we have so much stuff going on at the golf course. But it is nice to be able to come home and, if you get home at 7:30, 8 o'clock, I like to listen to the games on a radio as opposed to watch them. To be able to put the radio on and just imagine what's going on, I think is pretty cool. Have family members over to do a cookout or whatever to be able to listen to it. Yeah, we have TVs and we can watch it, but I think it's just there's something exciting about listening to a game on a radio that I prefer over watching it. I like collegiate sports probably 2-1 over baseball and basketball and football. I watch them all. There's no doubt. But I mean, the excitement of a collegiate game on a Saturday is different than the excitement at an NFL game to me. And basketball, football, the whole 9 yards. Having gone to having the opportunity to go to an NCAA game on a Saturday and then to a Browns game on a Sunday, the feel is very different between those. With the band, the crowd, the electric, the tailgating, the pregame, very different from college to the NFL. Plus, I think in collegiate football, everybody's got a shot. There's no doubt about it. Where in the NFL, you have your top 2 teams in each division that really only have a legitimate shot of doing whatever. But like I said, I like them both. But getting season tickets for YSU for basketball and football, which we normally do, which we didn't this year because of the COVID stuff. Being able to sneak out to go to a game. My wife and kid get to go to a lot more games than I do, just because we have a ton of tournaments and outings in the fall. I may catch them at halftime. I may catch, depending upon what our schedule is, but they go to a lot of them, and it's fun for them. But I do miss, the spring and the fall, and I really miss all of the summer. Other than listening to a game on radio, it's a good way to wind down and relax for me. But the NCAA tournament, leads to the Masters to me, and to spring baseball, and I'm a huge Cleveland Indians fan. So, having those all going on at the same time, which you've got action every single day. There's something that interests you on TV other than the stuff, the news and everything else that's going on. It's a great way to take your mind off and decompress a little bit. But then I do like the college football in the fall. So, I mean, it's tough for me to juggle those two, but early on, just because you're flipping that switch from winter to spring, maybe the NCAA tournament, the Masters tournament that follows literally the week after, and then your spring baseball getting fired up.
Let me ask you because Youngstown State will be opening up their football season, and it's so freaking weird saying that. But they'll open it up on Sunday against North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome, and then they'll play 2 consecutive home games, 1 week from Saturday and the following Saturday at 12 noon. Now, tickets are not available day of the game, but you can get tickets prior to the game. Are you going to be heading to Youngstown State to watch 1 or 2 of these games?
I will be heading there in the fall when they start back up.
You front runner, you front runner! How dare you sit here and say that you're a fan and then you won't freeze your chuckus off?
Fair weather fan.
Fair weather, literally. You are literally a fair weather fan.
I have no problem doing that in the fall, but in the spring, ooh, it's mighty cold. I had a tough time walking from the car parking lot into Beagle to watch them because it's always so windy, it's cold, it's snowing, it's sleet for basketball. So that was like the longest walk when you're walking in and when you were leaving and trying to get across the street. We'll have season tickets in the fall, but like I said, in the spring, we bought the ESPN 3 package, so I'm watching that. We'll catch their games on there like we've caught all the basketball, which has been fabulous to be able to see them play at home, knowing that we're not going to be able to see them in person.
Well,
with the Horizon League and
the weather forecast for next Saturday when Northern Iowa comes to town, and again, I don't trust anybody giving me a forecast 1 week and change out, but the weather forecast for Saturday, February 27th, the YSU home opener, 38 degrees. I'll take it.
Hard pass.
I will take that in a heartbeat. I got to be on the field anyway. I'll take that in a heartbeat.
I'm going. If it's not above,
way better than what we've had, there's no doubt about it. And I remember going to playoff games, the Villanova game where we hit that pass late in the game, and Wilkins comes in and kicks a field goal to win it. We were down pretty much the whole game, with like 6 seconds left. And that game probably was one of the coldest games I think I've gone to. But there was a slew of them, when Tressel was on his run, and we were always seemed to be either the runner-up or the champion every single year. But I remember that stadium, it's cold to begin with in the fall. The wind blows, and you're like at the top of the hill. Like you can feel the coldness in your chest when you're sitting there, no matter how many layers of clothes that you have on. So I couldn't imagine what it's going to be like in 2 weeks from now when they play a home game there. So it's going to be different.
Hey, Brian, always a pleasure. And like I said, if I happen to get in the money this week, I'll give you a chunk of it. Okay.
There you go. Lunch at the MVR.
Yeah, there. Okay, that's good. If it's a large chunk of money, I'll do better than that. But if it's a decent size money, I owe you lunch at the MVR. I can live with that.
You got it. One of my favorite places.
Can I comment on that? I want lunch too.
No, you'll. But you didn't give me much input in this. I mean, you're small potatoes compared to our golfer guy here. I mean, if I wanted to get into a softball thing, you're my guy. Then I'm gonna give you that. But yeah, you'll join us for lunch. But come on.
Running Point live from the MVR.
Running Point live from the MVR. We'll have some fun. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Brian, always a pleasure, sir.
You got it. Have a great weekend.
All right, I'll see you. Thanks. I actually ran through the rules of this. So the highest score you get is 110.
Okay.
You get 10 points. It's 8 golfers head to head. 10 points if the golfer is tied. The golfer that you picked is tied or leading, you get 10 points. So that's the best you can do there is 80 because there's 8 head-to-head matchups that you have to do. And then if you pick the winner, it's worth 15 points, so that's 95. And if you pick the exact score, it's 15 more points. So it's 110 points is the maximum that you can do. And 2 weeks ago, there were 4 people that hit 110 points, and they shared $12,500. So there you go. If someone hits it by themselves, $50,000. If you nail it by yourself. So
someone already nailed it.
Yeah, but I mean they do it every. They're doing it every golf tournament.
It's really hard to nail it.
Yeah, I mean you would have to. You'd have to get everything right. So that means you'd have to go 8-0 in your head-to-head matchups. You'd have to nail the winner, and then hit the exact score. Yeah, it's 4 people did it 2 weeks ago. 4 people were able to do it 2 weeks ago.
I'm calling something.
Yeah.
I want to see proof.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous to get all the way to this right, pick the winner, and then pick exactly what score he's going to get.
Yeah, and you're not getting $50,000. You're now going to get 12,500.
You have to do it by Thursday, right?
Yes, it has to be in. So I've already put mine in. I've already put mine in. Now you can change it until the first round begins. I ain't touching this now. It's
got the Brian
it's
approved.
in. I've put it in. It's Brian Tolnar approved. So if I am in the money, you, me, Brian, we're going to go to MVR. It's on me.
All
so
right.
there you go. All right. We will take a timeout. On the other side, we'll talk some sports. I mean, I got to ask you, as a Royals fan, how excited you're going to be. Today is Pitchers and Catchers reporting. So happy Pitchers and Catchers Day for Major League Baseball fans. So we can do a little baseball if you want to. And Rob Schmidt will be calling in the program at 2 o'clock. Penguins on a 5-game winning streak.
Here we go.
I mean, here we go. Let's have some fun here. And we said, look, if this team can get hot before the tournaments, this could be fun. They're hot right now.
I give them a lot of preps because it was really looking bad for a minute there.
Oh, it was
looking like
it was looking like we were about to go into a ditch.
Right.
But DQ is back, and this team is playing a whole lot better now. So we'll talk a little bit about that and take some phone calls
DQ,
as well.
Hot eats and cold treats. That's where we're getting the DQ.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. I can't eat DQ for 40 days because I swore off. Well, we'll talk about it because it is Ash Wednesday. And for those of us who are Catholic, you're looking at one, I had to give something up for Lent. So I will tell everyone what I gave up for Lent.
On Monday, right? You're giving up the fast food.
I gave up the fast food, and I gave up soda.
Okay.
So you will not see me with anything but water in here. It's water. It'll be water.
Come on.
You will not see me with any cans of Coke or any soda drinks for 40 days, and you will not see me with any fast food at all.
So you use soda. You don't say pop or
No, I say soda.
Did you pick that up when you were in Tennessee?
No, I actually picked it up when I lived in New York.
When
yeah,
I went to Tennessee to visit my brother. He went to school at Johnson Bible College, which is right outside of Knoxville.
Yep.
I went to a restaurant and I said I wanted a Coke. Then they said, what kind? Coke. Apparently down there, Coke is replaced pop and soda. So, hey, you want a Coke? Yeah, I'll take a Sprite. Okay, here you go. So
that's weird.
I was thrown way off when they asked me what kind of
okay,
Coke
if you want to say pop, I mean that's whatever. I mean, I don't say that, but I mean it's universal. In Ohio, if you say pop, everyone knows what you're talking about. If you say soda, most everyone knows what you're talking about. Some people will actually combine the two and say soda pop, which, okay, whatever. But that's weird.
Coke.
I want a Coke. What kind? What the hell do you mean, what kind of Coke? I mean, what do you have? You have the no sugar Coke? I mean, if you do, all right, great.
Cherry Coke?
You have cherry Coke? You have Diet Coke? What are you talking about? That's weird.
What would really get me is I want a Coke and they say it's Pepsi. Okay, well, no, I want a Coke.
No. I mean, if I wanted a Pepsi, I would have asked you for one. I mean, and don't get me started because there's a big difference between the two.
I like
huge difference between the two.
I like them both, but I lean a little bit more towards Pepsi.
Well, I can't drink Jack Daniels with Pepsi.
I'll tell you.
I'll take Jack Daniels and Coke though. That's great.
Whoa. Not for the next.
But not for the next 40 days. So there you go.
Do Jack Daniels straight up.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a tough thing to do. I'll have to have a lot of ice involved.
On the rocks.
Yeah. Jack Daniels on the ice, shaken, not stirred.
Not stirred.
Yeah. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Wednesday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Wind is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to a Wednesday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. All right, so today is officially the first day of spring training. Pitchers and catchers have reported, and while there were some teams that were getting some stuff done early, everyone is now in camp and everyone is doing their thing. Now, I feel like my team is going to be rebuilding this year, although, as I said yesterday on the show, don't be a bit surprised if the Cleveland Indians are a playoff team this year. And I say this because the pitching staff is good enough to carry the day, and all they need is some timely hitting. Now, whether or not they get that timely hitting remains to be seen. Kansas City, I feel like they've been doing an awful lot of very quietly doing some really interesting things to improve their offense. They actually have a very good offense that nobody's talking about right now.
I'm sitting there thinking, well, our offense is already pretty good. We need some pitchers bad.
But you guys have developed a couple of pitchers that
we did.
Will hopefully, fingers crossed, get the job done. I saw. I was reading an article with all of the beat reporters from MLB.com in the AL Central, and to a man, all of them said if there is one team that in this division that has a chance to come out of nowhere and just shock everybody, it's Kansas City. So
I hope so. I mean, we got talent, that's for sure. I mean, we still have Whit Merrifield, who might be one of the best pure hitters in the league. When you think of average, I mean, the last 2 years before the 60 season weird year, in the last 2 full seasons, he led the AL in batting average, and he's like the first right-handed hitter to do that 2 consecutive years in a long time.
Yeah.
So he's a legit on-base percentage / hitter. And then Jorge Soler, the same year, led the AL in home runs. So, and then we also had the AL leader in stolen bases in Alberto Mondesi. So we definitely have the offensive of star power to make noise. We just got to have, even if it's mediocre pitching that doesn't put us down 5-0 before we blink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've been a big fan of Soler ever since I saw him with the Cubs.
He's got a revival because he didn't really do much in the Cubs.
No,
that's why we got him for Davis. The Cubs were like, here, take it.
And he was a perfect candidate to be one of those guys, much like Wyatt Teller when the Bills traded him to Cleveland. Oh, I'm going to have to really do something here because this might be my last stop.
Right.
And Soler, he turned a switch on, and he has been ridiculously good.
And he stayed healthy. I mean, that was the big knock on him in Chicago, too. He couldn't stay healthy through a full season. And he stayed healthy in 2019, and he led the AL with 41 home runs, destroyed Moustakas' Kansas City home run record that was 38. So, I'm looking for at least a fun season for Kansas City. They're always a fun team to watch because they run the bases so well, and they have a lot of flashy superstars. I think Alex Gordon is going to be a tough person to replace in left field. You lose one of the best defensive left fielders in the game to retirement. It's always going to be tough to kind of put someone out there and say, hey, you go do what Alex Gordon could do on day in, day out.
Yeah, right.
You can't.
Yeah, that's
you don't replace 8 Gold Gloves.
No, you definitely don't. But I think that if Kansas City can get some decent pitching in the rotation, their offense can certainly score some runs. Where the Indians are the exact opposite. You look on paper, you've got Ramirez, you've got Reyes, and you've got a bunch of question marks. Your offense, you're going to look and go, well, who's going to do this? Now they did late in the off season. They got Cesar Hernandez back, and then they signed a former Twins outfielder who has done pretty well for himself. So there are some guys in this lineup, and I will say if the Indians can get some kind of an offense, they're going to win a lot of games this year because that pitching staff is going to be keeping them in a lot of games this year.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like their pitching staff, and this is just, it would scare me as an Indians fan, might look a little bit better than they are if everyone's excited about last year. Because last year, let's just be honest and say the Indians' schedule was not hard to pitch against.
No, it wasn't.
So the numbers might have been padded a little bit. I mean, not Justin Bieber, Shane Bieber. Don't get that confused.
Yeah,
had an incredible season. I mean, the stats he put up were phenomenal.
Yeah,
but he was pitching against the AL Central and the NL Central. You got to take that into a little bit of consideration.
I agree with that.
And then when he got in the playoffs,
yeah, you're going up against a really good offense with the Yankees.
This isn't AL Central anymore.
Yeah, it was. You're right. It was very difficult. So we'll see what happens. But I'm now glad that we're going to go into baseball. And oh, by the way, the universal DH out. NL will have the DH.
I'm surprised that stayed and the extra base runner didn't. I felt like if they were going to keep something, they would have kept the the universal DH.
Yeah, they screwed that up, and that the National League will have the pitchers hit, which should be worldwide, but neither here nor there. And the extra innings will have a runner at second base to begin the inning, which is stupid. And the doubleheaders will be 7 innings, which is even more ridiculously stupid. But baseball is back. Spring training is
I don't get why you
moved
it to 7 innings.
They did it in the minor leagues, and I didn't like it then. I surely don't like it now.
When did we start playing softball?
Exactly.
And that wasn't a knock on softball. It's just it's different. I mean, baseball is 9 innings.
It's worlds different. All right, we're going to take a timeout. Rob Schmidt will talk YSU men's basketball. That's all coming up in a bit. Stick around.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSWealthAdvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Welcome back to a Wednesday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. It is Wednesday. It's 2 o'clock. It is time to talk YSU men's basketball. They're on a 5-game winning streak, looking to close out the Horizon League schedule this weekend against IUPUI. And to talk about that, as well as the 5-game winning streak, we bring aboard the broadcaster and the voice of the YSU men's basketball program, Rob Schmidt. Mr. Schmidt, sir, how are you today, sir?
We're getting ready for the final weekend of the regular season. We're doing well, Ron.
Can you believe it that like it feels like yesterday we were talking about getting ready for the season. Now all of a sudden we're talking about the regular season finale. It's just I know it's a shortened basketball season, but it still seems like it's going way too fast.
Well, and you're 100% right, Anthony. It was, they were hoping to get a season in. Nobody expected, to play a full league schedule. No, not everybody has. I think only 6 teams have played a full league schedule for the men in the Horizon League. So not everybody has. Robert Morris has been hit hard. IUPUI, the team that comes here to town this weekend, they've had, some hiccups along the way. But, for the YSU men to play 25 games this year, is really astounding, considering on a normal year you're going to play 31 regular season games. So they truly only missed 6 games, considering everything that's been going on. It's been a full season. You're right, though. It always goes too quick, and here we are down to the final weekend of the regular year.
All right, 13-10 overall, 8-10 in the Horizon League. As we mentioned, the Penguins on a 5-game winning streak. they have an opportunity to fight for the top 4 spot. Now, they're not doing the standings like normal, simply because there are very few teams that are going to get through the 20 games. So road wins are going to be considered more valuable than home wins. The committee met earlier this week. Rob, where does YSU stand right now?
So right now, in the latest seedings and the calculations, YSU's 5th. So it still goes Cleveland State, Wright State, Oakland, Northern Kentucky. However, with some prognostications and kind of trying to forecast a little bit, YSU has a good chance to move into that 4th slot if several things happen, obviously. They've got to win out. So YSU needs to beat IUPUI both Friday and Saturday. They either need Northern Kentucky, which hosts Wright State, and Wright State and Cleveland State are still battling it out for the number 1 overall seed in the regular season championship. So Northern Kentucky would have to lose both games to Wright State, or Oakland, which is playing host to Milwaukee, or actually they're at Milwaukee. So Oakland is at Milwaukee. They need to lose out. Either one of those 2 teams, Oakland or Northern Kentucky, must lose their last 2 games, and YSU must win its last 2 games in order for the Penguins to move into 4th.
How does Detroit not go up the spots that I thought they would, being that they beat Cleveland State?
Well, they only beat them once. The second game, the loss to Cleveland State, is actually what gave YSU a little breather. Now, Detroit Mercy can still move in to the top 4. I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion that YSU is the only team that can catch Northern Kentucky and or Oakland. Detroit Mercy can still do it. If YSU splits and Northern loses 2 or Oakland loses 2, then Detroit Mercy would move into a top 4 spot. So, they're not out of the mix yet. And really what kind of buoys the whole thing is not just your winning percentage of who you've beaten and who you've lost to, but there's 2 other factors involved. There's your opponent's winning percentage and your opponent's winning percentage. So there's 3 factors that go into this to determine your overall seed.
When you look at, we talked about before the season how deep the Horizon League was going to be and how many very competitive teams are in it and how kind of there's so much parity. Do you think the fact that Youngstown State has a chance at the 4 seed and the best record they can get is 10-10, that just speaks wonders to the what we said, the parity of the league. I mean, you could have a 10-10 team be a top 4 seed.
Well, and the crazy thing is people around the league, and not so much the league, it's, the fans of the league are going to go gaga crazy because they're going to see teams that may have a better overall record than YSU at 10-10. And for instance, Detroit Mercy could finish 10-6. There's a likely chance that they do that because they played Robert Morris this week. So there's a good chance that they go 10-6, but won't finish higher in the seedings. And part of it is because YSU got all 20 games in. So that factors into it, that you were able to play all 20 games. Teams that don't play a full schedule don't get credit for some of those games that they should have or could have played. So, for Detroit Mercy, they could be one that could be screaming. Milwaukee could be screaming. Northern Kentucky could drop all the way down to 6 if they lose both games to Wright State and YSU wins both. I've got Northern falling all the way to 6th and Detroit Mercy finishing 5th. Well, those people at Northern Kentucky aren't going to be happy because they're going to end up 10-8, and they're going to want to know how they fell all the way to 6th. So, the calculations they were skewed, as Ron had mentioned. Road wins mean more. Road losses don't hurt as bad as a home loss. How your opponents do, and fortunately for YSU, they've played all of the top-tier teams. They played Cleveland State. They played Wright State. They played Oakland. They played Northern Kentucky. They played Detroit Mercy. Not everybody has played those top-tier schools, so your opponent's winning percentage might not be as high. So there's a lot of things that go into it, and sometimes the luck of the draw and who you schedule may play into this.
Well, Youngstown State has been playing rock-solid basketball for the last 5 games. And we had spoken about going into the tournaments hot. Barring a complete disaster week this weekend, Youngstown State's going to be going into the tournaments very hot, which is a great thing.
Well, and this is what they were always aiming towards. Once Darius Quisenberry was lost for an extended period of time because of the injured ankle, and because Grayson Kelly wasn't back in the flow coming off of his ankle injury, they knew that really for the most part, the way this was all going to play out, and the Horizon being a one-bid league, they knew that all they really had to do was get healthy and then get hot in February to make a run in late February, early March. So that's really what they had been aiming towards the whole time, and now you're starting to see that happen, that they're all back minus Jameer Thomas. They're playing with a lot more continuity, a lot more flow. They're 9-2 overall this year. They're 9-2 when Quisenberry plays, and that includes earlier in the year. And people might say, "Well, what about those, non-D1 games?" Well, he did not play in the opener against Point Park. He did not play against Carlo. So he played against Rochester, and he played against WVU Tech, which is when he initially injured the ankle. So they're 9-2. That's how much of a difference, whether he has a good game or a bad game. That's how much of a difference his presence on the floor makes for this basketball team.
And it's crazy when you really break it down like that. But I have to imagine not just his play, but I'm sure you've seen it too. Everyone else just looks a little bit more confident in themselves when Darius is on the floor. It seems like he brings a lot of intangibles to the Penguins on the floor that go past what he can do with the ball in his hand.
Well, he brings attention to himself. That's not the kind of kid he is. He doesn't do that. But the opponents have to respect him. He brings that attention with him because on any given night, as he showed last year, he can go off for 40. He can go off for 30. He has that ability to take over a game. So he necessarily, because of the scouting report, will bring attention to himself, which, A, takes some of the pressure off of Naz Bohannon, who's carried the load all season. And what it's also done now, it allows Michael Akuche to play off of Darius, and they've got a good rapport. Naz and Garrett Covington have a good rapport. So now Naz can find Garrett. It just, all the pieces start to fit a little bit better because you've got some guys on the floor who you have to respect. And for IUPUI, they've got 3 big guns. But I don't know right now, who do you try to take out of the equation for YSU, especially if you put Rattan Mays in there, who had a good series last weekend at home against Purdue Fort Wayne. You've got 5 guys you got to respect on the floor. So that's what Quisenberry does. He helps everybody play a little bit better. He helps everybody's position kind of open up a little bit. And he may not shoot it well. He didn't shoot it well Saturday, but everybody else was able to elevate their game. And that's one thing that we've seen. And when he wasn't on the floor, players had to learn how to play without him. So I think it's helped overall, both with him being on and off the floor.
Well, Rob, another person that really didn't play well on Saturday was Michael Akuche. When you consider that Michael had 23 points and 13 rebounds on Friday, he had a double-double at halftime, and then we made mention on Saturday he went 0 of 3 from the floor, 0 of 2 from 3-point range. He did have 9 rebounds, but he was scoreless. And if you combine his numbers with Quisenberry, they go 2 of 14. And the Penguins still win the game. I mean, that tells me that this Penguin team is ready to go come tournament time, that if Akuche and Quisenberry are having an off day, or if Naz and someone else is having an off day, the rest of the team, they can pick up the slack. I really like Youngstown State's chances if everyone stays healthy.
No, that's exactly it. So let's just say they're all playing well. Who do you want to take out of the equation? Do you try to shut down Quisenberry? Do you try to double down on Bohannon? Well, they've already shown now if those 2 guys are off, well, the other 3 guys have an ability to help carry the load. So they become a very dangerous team because you don't just have 1, 2 guys that you can focus on and try to determine your defensive scheme. you've got to play help defense all over the floor now. So, I think what you're going to see this weekend is I think you're going to see 5 versus 3. I think IUPUI has 3 guys, and YSU has 5, and I think the 5 win out over the 3 every day of the week.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing my opinion into the ring. I mean, if I was a defensive coordinator or a defensive coach going up against Youngstown State, I completely understand that there are other players on the court that deserve attention and deserve utmost respect. They can really score. I'm not letting Darius Quisenberry beat me with a 30 or 40-point game. So that would be my main focus. And then, like you said, that opens up things for other people, and that's why they're 9-2 with him.
Oh, no, that's exactly right. And that's what helps Bohannon. It's helped Kuche. He's openly admitted it, that, they do very well with pick and roll because, they've got a good rapport with one another. And I still think, a guy like a Miles Hunter, one of the freshmen there, could still be a problem for a team. And if he doesn't score 18 like he did in a couple games against Oakland, then he's a guy that can still defend. So they still need him on the floor to stay in the game mentally because he's a matchup problem because he can go up against a guard who's 6'1", and he's 6'4", 6'5", very long, good hands. So, they've got some pieces where they've openly felt that they need to improve is with the rest of the bench. Alex Vargo's got to really step it up. Will Dunn's got to give him some solid minutes. That bench is starting. It's got to step up now as you enter into these final 2 games in the tournament.
Well, and the problem is when you're looking at the bench, they're all young kids. I mean, Vargo's a freshman. Sheikh Traore is a freshman. Agoro, I believe, redshirt freshman. Hamperian provides some upperclassmen stuff off the bench, but a lot of those guys, they're really, really young. Now, Grayson Kelly is a kid, and we didn't see much of him because he's been hurt most of the year. But if he can get going, oh man, that would be a big time plus for the Penguins.
And I gotta think you've seen him play this weekend, guys. Last week against Purdue Fort Wayne, Coach Calhoun felt when the time came that he could trap and press and really kind of hurt Purdue Fort Wayne. And you saw it. As soon as they started to press, run, and trap, they created turnovers. They really disrupted what Purdue Fort Wayne wanted to do. I'm not so sure that you're going to need to press and trap IUPUI. I don't, defensively, I'm not so sure they can lock you up, which I would think would help Grayson Kelly and get him on the floor more. And if he gets an opportunity and a good look, he's going to knock it down. So this might be the kind of weekend where we see him resurface.
Rob Schmidt, the voice of the YSU men's basketball program, joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. You've had an opportunity to speak with Jared Calhoun all year long, and you have him on the show every Monday. What is his feeling been like the last week or two with in regards to this program, Rob?
Well, I think he feels really good where they're at right now, and he always kind of clarifies it and says, as that sounds, because they're 8-10 in the league and 13-10 overall. But I truly believe he likes where this team is, and for a lot of the reasons that we've talked about. Everybody's back; they're starting to get some practice time together now. You see them starting to win, so the confidence level goes up. They're experienced on the floor now. I think he feels they can match up with anybody in this league with his starting 5, even if you want to go 6-7 deep. I think the concern again is some of those younger players coming off the bench, but no, I think he feels really good about where they're at. I think they really, obviously they do. They want that 4th seed because I just think it makes your path to Indianapolis so much easier instead of having to play a home game, then going on the road for the quarterfinals, and then going to Indy. Now you can bypass that first round, play a home game in the quarters, and then go right to Indy. So, I think it's important for a lot of reasons, but that 4th seed means a whole lot over these first 2 weeks of the tournament.
Getting Jared Calhoun to put pen to paper and sign an extension, that's a big plus, not only for the basketball program, but for the recruiting classes that are going to be coming in the near future.
Yeah, the recruiting classes are always the important aspect of that. You want your coach to be able to go out and talk to a recruit and say, I will be there for your 4 years. I will see your son, from the time he comes on campus. I will see him through his college career until he graduates. So I can tell you that if you like me, you like my assistant, for continuity purposes, we'll be there to help him. We're not leaving. I'm not going to be cut. I'm not getting fired or whatever the case would be. So he's in limbo after his first year away from home. So it's important. It's a reassurance thing for the recruits to show you that this program is headed in the right direction, and it truly is. So I think it's a vote of confidence because they're taking steps forward every year. It's not as if they're taking any steps backwards. They're still moving in the right direction, and you've seen this year how that team has fully progressed. And now you've got 7 virtual freshmen who will remain freshmen next year, and there's a solid foundation for the next 4 years right there, not to mention the kids that are coming in who have already signed and will be true freshmen next year.
Man, that's a lot of people to be on the roster.
It's a lot of people in the locker room. You're 100% right.
Let's get a preview of this weekend, maybe some keys to victory from your mind for Youngstown State, and maybe if you had to pick maybe 1 or 2 things that IUPUI can do that maybe might give the Penguins some trouble.
Well, they can score, and they've got 3 of the best players in the league. Marcus Burke is right now, if IUPUI had a little bit better season, again, they had disrupted quite a bit with COVID, so they got off to a slow start. He could be in the conversation for Player of the Year. He's coming off of a weekend in which he averaged 35 points a game. He's put up 30, I think it's 6 times this year. A great 3-point shooter. He's a big body. Can do a lot of things. Marcus Burke is really playing well. Jalen Minette is another great scorer. I think he's put up 20 in 6 straight games. Can shoot the 3, but that's his game. He's more of a 3-point shooter, so you got to stay on him. I'm not so sure he can do other things, but we'll find out. And then Elijah Goss is their version of Naz Bohannon. He's a double-double. He's averaging 10 points, 10 rebounds a game. But the only difference is now he's the only guy that truly can rebound the ball for IUPUI statistically. Whereas YSU has both Bohannon and Akuche statistically that rebound the basketball. They rely on Elijah Goss. So those are the 3 big guys. What you got to be afraid of is all 3 of them have big games together. If you're talking 30, 20, and 20, it's already 70 points without anybody else helping them. So you got to make sure that all 3 of them don't play their best game together. And YSU's had some success in recent years against IUPUI. I think they've been able to find the weak spots in their defense. And I feel confident that they can run their offense. So if you can bring some defense to the games on Friday and Saturday, YSU, much like Purdue Fort Wayne, should be favored.
Rob, before we let you go, the men and the women will be playing their last doubleheader. It'll be 2 o'clock for the women, 5 o'clock for the men, and that'll be Friday as well as Saturday. If COVID weren't such a prevalent thing, my goodness, it would be nice to see these 2 teams playing back-to-back on the same day. It's just unfortunate that we're not allowed to have fans in the stands.
Yeah, it really is, because the women are playing Cleveland State. They've got an opportunity to lock up the 6th seed and get a first-round home game. But anytime you're playing Cleveland State, that's a great rivalry. In fact, right now, there's 6-7 in the standings or in the seeding, so it's an imperative game for both teams. And then for the men to have an opportunity coming off of a 5-game winning streak to extend that to 7. We would obviously have 4,500. I truly believe that you would have, probably 4,500 for Friday, and maybe you'd push 5,000 for Saturday's game. You're right. It would truly be an electric weekend at Bingley.
Well, we'll just hope and pray that without fans, we get a double sweep and both programs go into the Horizon League tournament on a hot note.
That's okay, Rob.
Sure would be good.
That just means that you have to bring the electricity for the broadcast. It's a little bit more pressure to bring the excitement.
Well, That's why I got that dude sitting off to your side there.
What am I, chopped liver over here? What is it? You know,
the color commentator doesn't bring the electricity.
Okay,
You
so
know that.
so I'm just a plug.
You're like the Bill Walton.
Well, okay. First of all, I don't smoke nearly as much weed, if any, as Walton does. Let me just back up here. I don't smoke any weed. Walton does. I gotta really correct myself here. Yeah, let me rewind that. I smoke no weed. Walton does. Yeah, let's just stop right there.
Why is it the end of these conversations each week, guys, always seems to take a southward trajectory?
I have no idea. It's
Between the Dunk Tank and you and Walt, these always get you in trouble.
Rob, I thought I hit a really good tee shot, and the thing just kept going way right and out of bounds now. So
And his
it
partner
is
was
what
like,
it is.
oh, it opens up over there. And
Yeah.
Ron's like, it's a housing project.
Yeah, it's a housing project. I just put a ball in a housing project, not on the fairway. Oh Lordy! All right, Rob. I will. I'll make sure I don't bring a bong with me this weekend. All right, sir. Always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you on Friday. All right. There you go. Rob Schmitz. God. How did that happen? Oh, man. Oh, that's terrible. Good Lord. I hope my parents weren't listening in. Just
They
going,
were. They
Really?
were. Really?
Really?
Well, it's better than-
do you have something to say to us?
It's better than Shakespeare on Monday. So.
Well, that's true.
This mother knoweth that you smoketh the weed.
I don't. Thou dost not do that. God. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air
If
Conditioning
you want to call,
hotline, open for business.
But
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, we probably lost all of our callers.
I
at
think,
that point.
thank God there's not a school day where kids are like, oh, hey, it's all right for me to do it now because he's doing it. No. It's not going to happen. Oh, Lord. We're going to take a time out and be back with more running points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. We're back in a bit.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from Ksquared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call Ksquared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back to a Wednesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hartwig in his LSU gear. Maybe when I get AD on next week, you can wear that.
Oh, yeah, if you get him on a day that I'm on, too.
It's either got to be Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday. We'll see if we can get Alan Dunn, the pitching coach at LSU,
I'll rock
on.
the purple for that.
Yeah. Well, I have to hound him for some LSU gear because,
You hound everybody for gear. Have you gotten your Newton Falls gear yet?
Oh, God, yeah.
You did?
Oh, absolutely I did. I got it the day of the game.
He wasn't kidding.
No, he wasn't joking. He jumped before the lineups were introduced where Mr. B does it so incredibly well. Before he went to do the starting lineups, Newton Falls coach runs up the stands, flips me a shirt because we're up in the second level. Gets up to the top level on the first level, flips me a shirt and says, "You got to wear it." I said, "I definitely will. Matter of fact, I'll have it on tomorrow."
I'm about to say I haven't seen it on you yet.
Well, I will have it on tomorrow.
All right,
I will make sure that we do it tomorrow. But yeah, no, I have a Newton Falls shirt that I will proudly wear tonight or tomorrow.
Tomorrow we can both show up in a secret. I have a couple of schools. We'll both show up in a different YSN schools apparel.
And for those that let's be honest, I am a moocher. So this just in. If you have gear that you want to give to Anthony or I'm a double XL.
So I didn't get any from Newton Falls, did I?
No, you didn't.
Just Ron.
No, you didn't.
Whatever.
You didn't ask.
We both. I said, hey, I'll take some. Whatever. It's cool.
I feel bad now.
No, I'm just.
I feel bad now.
I am not a moocher.
I actually even got the XXL shirt. He remembered.
That's
impressive.
Because when we had him on the show, I just thought, oh man, they're just like jawing around. Hey,
he flipped that shirt to me that night.
He got you in it that day, and he remembered, and he got it to you.
I was impressed.
And you're gonna wear it tomorrow.
I'm wearing it tomorrow. I absolutely am wearing it tomorrow.
All right.
I'll make sure that it's out there because I have a tendency to forget a lot of things.
Newton Falls has the game tonight, so
yes,
hopefully
they do.
They'll be winners, and we can.
We have a lot of games tonight on the network. A bunch of games on the network tonight. Let's run through these. Boys basketball, it's starting at 5 o'clock from McDonald. Lowellville will be playing McDonald in a varsity-only game at 5 o'clock.
They had to get done because their girls host a tournament.
Yeah, exactly. So McDonald has to, they got to get their business done because McDonald's hosting a tournament. So there you go.
Louisville's going to be coming in angry. They just got upset on Friday by Western Reserve, so they obviously didn't get to play last night. So.
Yeah, so we'll see what Louisville can do against McDonald. Boys basketball tonight from Boardman. Canfield will be playing Boardman. Boardman did not look good Saturday night or in their loss, and Coach Birch after the game had said, "I might have to work these guys out on Sunday." Because I didn't like the effort on Saturday. I don't know if he did or not. I'll be curious if he gave him a day off or if he was mad enough to tell them you guys are going to practice on Sunday.
Knowing Birch, I'm sure they practice on Sunday.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
But it's always interesting to see teams the game after they don't play well, to see how they respond to that.
Yeah.
Because some teams come out and they're like, okay, they're back to where they were. And then other teams, you see that kind of hangover where their confidence is gone a little bit and they start to be a little sluggish. And it takes them, even if it takes them a quarter or a half, it takes them a little bit to wake up and smell the smelling salts and get back into the game shape.
Keith Gunther, when I had him on, was it last week or the week before, we were talking about old school mentality of coaching. And back in the day, when too far back in the day, probably about 25, 30 years ago, if a team had played horribly, it wouldn't have been a shock for the coach to sit back and say, you guys aren't going into the dressing room quite yet. Line up on the baseline and run them for about 5 or 10 minutes just to tell them, you want to play like this on the field, on the court when you're in front of parents and friends and stuff like that, and you want to embarrass yourself, let me complete this embarrassment by having you run in front of your parents, in front of your family, and in front of your friends. And I actually had that happen once. And that is, you can't do that today.
That would not go over well today.
It would not go over well today, but
there'd be a board meeting.
There would be. There would be a lot of angry parents. Let me tell you, I saw that happen years ago. I saw that happen where a team did not play very well, and they underachieved, grossly underachieved. And the coach, that will remain nameless, said, you guys aren't going anywhere. You're not going into the locker room. Get your ass on the baseline right now. You're running.
What I do see coaches do, that doesn't to that extent, but if a player players that aren't showing up well, I love the coaches that aren't afraid to just put in a freshman. I mean, even if it means the standard of play goes down.
Yeah.
If there's someone on the bench that wants to go effort-wise 100% and your quote-unquote starters aren't, I love the coaches that will just be like, hey, you sit down, we're going to put these guys in, they want to play.
I saw, and this was my alma mater, and this would have had to have been mid-late 80s. The starting lineup was god-awful. I mean, they were horrible, and they were all yanked out of the game at once. All of them yanked out of the game. He put the backups in, and the backups actually played really well, and they played through the third quarter. He sent a message and said, you guys aren't playing.
Back when Matisse was at South Range, one of his groups of seniors, I couldn't remember what year it is, and even if it was, I wouldn't throw them out under the bus. But they were getting a little bit, they had a really great year. They were like 15-1.
Yeah.
And they were getting a little bit up on themselves a little bit. You could tell that the egos were there. So Coach Matisse, he hates egos. I mean, he had one season, he had the stats shut off the scoreboard so girls couldn't look up and see how many points they had.
Good.
That's where it got to. So he hates ego. So he says, okay, you guys are getting a little bit, big-headed. He made them all play a quarter of JV. All the starters. You're playing a quarter of JV.
That's brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant.
Because you can do it and still get your 5 quarters in and play all 4 of varsity. So he said, you know what, guys? Go down a level.
Go down a level. Yeah. You want to be full of yourself?
Right.
Yeah, go down a level. I like that. That's good. All right, so here's some of the games that we got for tonight. As we mentioned, 5 o'clock start in McDonald. Boys basketball, Lowellville taking on McDonald. 7 o'clock tonight, boys basketball. Canfield is home, or I should say Canfield is going to Boardman. 7 o'clock, here are some girls' tournament basketball games. Mogador is at Brookfield. East is at Cardinal Mooney. Pie Valley is at Columbiana. Waterloo is at Crestview. Badger is at Jackson Milton. Painesville Harvey is at Jefferson. Geneva is at Lakeview. Cardinal is at Leetonia. Warren JFK is at McDonald. Lordstown is at Springfield. Crestwood at South Range. Edgewood at Struthers. Heartland Christian at Valley Christian. Cheney is at West Branch. And Wellsville is at Western Reserve. We got boys games as well. We made mention the 2 boys matchups at 5 o'clock today. Lowellville at McDonald. Canfield at Boardman starting at 7 o'clock. Let's see. We have the Urban Scholar youth will be taking on East at East. That'll be at 7 o'clock. Warren JFK is at Hubbard tonight. Cam Hollabon needs 20 to get to 1,000 points. He might do that tonight.
He might do that.
He might do that tonight.
JFK needs to wash Monday out of their mind.
Oh, man. And how about our boy Mark Franken with the call?
You saw the shot because you obviously saw
the
his
shot
call.
was phenomenal. I mean, he was shooting that from the volleyball line.
When I saw the text in our group chat while we were on the air that said Berdovich just hit a buzzer beater, I was thinking, okay, he probably drove down and he ran out of time and he just chucked it. But no, that was like a set play. He caught it at that line and shot it from there. I was so impressed. In the call, Mark.
Yeah, that was a good call. That was a solid call.
I love the guys that just lose their mind, and it's great.
Yeah, that was a solid call. What do we got? Southern is at Lisbon. Hence the reason why our boy is all dressed up today.
We saw Quinn pull a Superman. He went into the bathroom, and he came out with a completely different outfit.
Yeah, and he's all dressed up today.
Mm-hmm.
So we know Lisbon's in game mode when Quinn's dressed up. Because normally he dresses like us.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think I got more style than Quinn.
Yeah. I mean, you have the LSU gear on, so clearly you do. I don't know if. Well, I'd like to think that I'm a little more stylish today, but that's. They haven't played each other in a while, so we don't know.
I liked your new hoodie yesterday that you wore, the YSU red hoodie. That's a new one.
That's that one and the football one are new. Yeah, so I have my football hoodie that will be worn this year.
You got to be careful wearing red though. You got a red wall right next to you. Sometimes you might chroma key right out of the camera shot.
Yeah, well, this isn't red, so
everyone will see is this floating rod head.
The floating head
in two hands.
Yeah, the floating head in the two hands. That should be a series. That's I don't know.
Maybe a band. It sounds more like a band. The floating heads. The floating heads.
That's a good rock band right there. The Floating Heads. That's a good sounding rock band.
I know. I just made it up right on the spot.
Yeah,
there you go.
Back in the day, you know, when you were in high school, you always wanted to be in a band.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a couple of friends of mine. One that is still playing guitar and is really good as a guitar player. He's in a bunch of different bands down in South Florida, but he was in a band, Paradox. That's a great name for a band. That is a great name, Paradox. So that's I always thought that was a legit
There's
name
the sweater vest.
for a band. You get the sweater vest going on. I like that.
Oh man, now it's business.
It's all business. Ground Chuck is another. Ground Chuck would be a cool name for a garage band.
Everyone, please get your hands together.
Ground
Chuck.
Ground Chuck. Yeah, and it sounds like a metal band. Ground Chuck. And then you hear the wailing of the guitars. Yeah, that's it'd be a great band name.
There's some weird band names where you go, where did you think of that?
Yeah.
Or why did you come up with that? And I'm sure some drugs were involved in the naming of your names.
Well, that's
I mean, it's the rock culture, right?
It is. It is part of the culture apparently. What do we have? That's about it for basketball. I mean, that's
about it. Just
as we roll down 20 plus games on the network tonight. That's about it.
This might be the busiest network day of basketball season because I know we've had a couple of 18-game days.
Yeah, this is blackjack. But we have 21 days.
We have 21 games.
Yeah.
Boys and girls. And YSN, man, we're doing everything we can to get as many games covered.
Yeah.
$9.99.
Yeah, $9.99.
All 14 girls tournament games, boys games free because they're regular season.
Yeah, so you have an opportunity to watch 14 girls basketball games.
Get those screens ready.
Let's be honest. If your game is a blowout, and hopefully your team is winning on the receiving end of the blowout, not on the short end of the blowout. And then you can go to another game and maybe a more exciting game, and you'll still be able to see it with no extra charge.
And we love to see the setups too. So if you're watching somewhere and you have a couple of screens up, different games on, take a picture, tag us in social media. We love to see how people are watching and what their setups look like. So
yeah, definitely.
Let us know you're watching. Let's go.
Definitely. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Wednesday edition of Running Point presented by Product Placement.
Product Placement, so
Greenwood
important.
Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
Beard Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
To Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Local teams are heating up the hardwoods, and you can keep up with all the action on and off the court with Five Guys Hoop News all season long on 21 Sports.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Welcome back to a Wednesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Happy Ash Wednesday to everyone. If you're Catholic like yours truly, you decide to give up some stuff for Lent. I have given up soda. And I have given up fast food. I will be a very, very angry person for 40 days. No, I'm going to drink a lot of water, which is good for you.
Gatorade.
And I'm
refill those electrolytes.
And I'm hoping to do 2 to 3 miles a day walking. I mean, it's kind of tough, especially when we're busy doing basketball games and whatnot.
It's tough in this.
And it's tough in this. It absolutely is.
I don't want to walk on all that ice.
No, I mean, that's where you want to go into the mall and say, okay, I'm going to use your facilities just to walk. And you'd be surprised how many people are walking in the mall.
Especially when you get there before the stores open and you look around, walk, you know. My mom used to do that in the summer. She'd go before the stores open and walk in the mall.
Yeah.
So...
And then when the weather's nice, I always like to either walk the trail in Washingtonville and Leetonia, which is now connected to the trail Leetonia to Lisbon. It's a nice bike trail. Oh, my God, it's beautiful. And if you go Washingtonville to Leetonia and back, it's like 3 miles. So it's a pretty nice. And if I'm in Boardman, I go to Mill Creek, the trail next to the golf course. And if you go parking lot to parking lot from Shields Boulevard and back, it's 3 miles. So it gets you my 3 miles, and I feel a lot better. So hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more of that.
So you got a good one tonight, Crestview and Waterloo.
Crestview and Waterloo. And all right, so let me ask. We're going to be on record right now. Give me a sleeper in Division 2, 3, and 4. And the sleeper is someone that is not top 4 seed.
Well, Division 2 is easy. We talked about it. It's West Cuyahoga. And they shouldn't be a sleeper because of how good they are. They were the 11th seed because they started late and they didn't have too many games in when the votes came in. But that's absolutely the sleeper in Division 2.
Okay. I can make an argument for Cardinal Mooney as the 9 seed, and those two teams will play each other if if Mooney and West Yaga both win their games tonight, they would play each other on Saturday in the sectional title game.
Now, are we saying like sleeper, like win it, or sleeper to make a lot of noise in it and maybe get to the finals?
Sleeper to win it.
Okay, so Division 3, sleeper, I'm going to go, well, you said outside the top 4. I'm going to go to the bottom, the Northeast 2.
Okay.
And, oh, geez. I'm trying to run through all those teams down there because I knew I had one.
Are you looking at Kirtland?
No. Let me just pull up the bracket. Talk for a minute.
All right. Says you got Garfield is at 2, so you can't choose them.
No.
Liberty and Kirtland are playing each
That's
other.
it, Liberty.
Liberty's the
my
11.
sleeper down there.
Wow. Okay.
They got young. They got talent. It's just young.
And they're so young that none of this might bother them.
Right, and they did it. They did it 2 years ago. They were a sleeper. They were like a 5 seed. They upset Columbiana and Salem in a district to go to the district championship. So
okay, I can respect that. That's actually a good call. I
also like United in that top bracket to get to a district championship, and we're going to talk to Coach Sigler tomorrow on the show. But they're a sneaky good team up there in the Northeast 1. Obviously, I don't want to go as far as saying they'd win it because South Range is a monster up there. But I think they can win a game or two and get to the championship.
I'm going to these kids right here. Okay. I'm
not the football team.
If they play as good as they can get into a district championship game, and they would probably face their old rival in South Range. But I think that if Crestview is focused, they can weather some storms and get into the district semis and get into a district championship game. We'll see. Division 4.
Now Division 4 is so hard because McDonald and Western Reserve are both top notch.
Yeah.
It's hard to see them losing in a district championship game, but I will say there are some teams that I like in there. I like Valley Christian because I like Kristen Gill. She can be a game wrecker. She can score a lot of points. And it's going to be a fun game tonight between them and Heartland Christian because both teams have players that can go off and score 30 if they have to. I like Jackson Milton in that, the 6th seed. I think they can get to a championship game. I think they'd be squared up with Reserve in that district. So I think they can make some noise and win a couple games, get to a district championship. I like Jackson Milton. They're going to be my sleeper in that Division 4.
And this team was hit really hard by COVID. But I saw this team when they're on. They can be a really, really good basketball team, and that's Springfield. When they're on, they can be a lot of fun to watch.
I don't know if Joseph is back, but if Joseph is back for them, they could be dangerous. Abby Joseph. She was hurt for them for a good chunk of the season, and she's a big cog in what they do. But J.C. Mullen, she can score wherever she wants to. Kylie Kosick is one of the girls that can run the offense. She can score if she has to. She's a guard that can rebound. I mean, she has a triple-double on the season with steals, rebounds, and points. So definitely some talent in Springfield that can give some people problems.
Yeah, if Springfield can knock off Lordstown tonight, they would get Matthews. One would think Springfield gets into the district semifinals, but then they have to go up against McDonald, and that would be a tough game.
The only plus for both those things to happen, if Jackson Milton got in there and then if Springfield got in there, the only plus is they'd already seen them twice, so they're not going to be any surprises. So they're going to know what McDonald brings to the table. Now, knowing it and being able to stop it are two different things, but at least you're not going up against a team that you've never seen before for a district championship.
No, that's true. That's definitely true. But I could see Springfield making some damage in Division 4. I mean, the low-lying fruit is my alma mater. And look, I mean, in fairness, I could see Letonia losing tonight to Cardinal. And now it wouldn't sit well. I hope not. I certainly hope that Leetonia, if they can win tonight, they get a huge game against East Canton on Saturday, and that's a tough game for the Bears.
And Ritz would be a good coach to have on tomorrow. But we do have some coaches already confirmed for tomorrow. We're gonna have a good show. We got Aaron Blash coming on at 12:15.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a good show if Crestview loses tonight.
Hopefully they win, and we can have a happy Coach Blash instead of a Coach Blash just trying to recap the season. We got Coach Josh Sigler from United calling in at 1:30, and then we have Steve Miller from Western Reserve calling in at 2:15. So we're gonna have a good show, and then Dre Smith in there kind of trying to wrap up the show at 2:30 is what we're going to aim for.
Yeah, we're hoping that we can get Dre on at 2:30, and we'll talk some YSU women's hoops.
We have some time if we want to reach out to Ritz. I mean, we have a good chunk of time between 12:30 and 1:30 where we can try to get him on. So
we're going to see if we can
tune in.
See if we can get our colleague that does the Leetonia games to
Derek.
corner Ritz and say, "Hey, you on our show.
Get here, good
Yo,
sir.
It's time to go on our show."
Well, I think that's a good note to give it to the Power Hour.
Yeah, give it to the Power Hour, and they'll. I don't know what's on the docket today.
A lot of fun stuff.
What is the national day today?
I don't know. We don't even get told until before the show. So
I mean, when that was National Pizza Day, I was pretty gung ho about that. But that was about a week or so ago. So
National Pizza Day.
I don't know.
Now
Maybe it's National Give Something Up Day because it's Ash Wednesday. I don't know.
They'll probably talk about that.
Yeah.
I know my buddy Jeff over here. Hey, Betos, you still good on the swearing?
Yeah, it was good today.
All right,
That's
good.
Hey,
One
there
day
you go.
down. One day down.
There you go. Well, I mean, it's not. It's not even close to one day.
No, it is.
Down.
It is one day because he started the bet yesterday around this time, so he's gotten 24
Well,
hours.
I mean, it was effective 12:01 today, 12:01 a.m. today.
Well, yeah, but he made the handshake bet around this time.
Well, I understand that, but he could have said anything he wanted to say to 11:59:59, and then you're swear free for 40 days.
He spent like 30 seconds saying every swear word.
Now, if it were me at 11:59, I would have been going mother, son of a, and all the other words for a strong minute, just 1 minute filled with, and then at midnight, okay, I'm good.
Okay, I'm good.
I'm 40 days. I'm good. We're good to go. I think we can do this. I have faith in you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
I believe you can do this.
There's going to be a lot of supplementary swear words, I think.
Shut the front door.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Fudge.
Yeah. You bastage. Yeah. There you go.
Son of a biscuit.
Yes.
Approved swear words.
That church-approved swear words. Dadgummit. Go to Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers has some really good words that you could use.
Oh, yeah. Trash talked all day without swearing. That's impressive.
That's impressive. You can trash talk without swearing. That's impressive. All right, we're out of here. Power Hour is coming up next. I got to go to St. Charles and get some ash on my forehead.
And then you got to go call a great game.
And then I got to call a great game, and hopefully Crestview wins, so Coach Blatch isn't.
But we won't be too sad because Waterloo's a YSN team too.
Well,
so
this is true. This is true. But Waterloo's coach is not calling in.
Right,
so
you're right. Maybe we'll go to them before the game and be like, hey, winner calls in tomorrow. Lot on the line.
All right, we're out of here. Power Hour is coming up next. Make it a great rest of your Wednesday, everyone. We will see you tomorrow, noon to 3 on YSN.